All right, what's going on, guys? It's going to be Donnie coming to you from the South Japan Pinku Style Podcast. We got a cool guest in here, my guy Brian Smith, upstate New York. And also, you got my guy Lexis, as you guys always know, is a regular in here. Pretty much don't call him a guest no more. He just shows up when he can. The reason I want to have both these guys in here because both of these guys did appear in the new series on Discovery Plus, Getaway Driver. Lex was on the first episode. Brian's just aired. And he hit that gate and everything, and we're going to talk about that and everything and the damage. Both of you guys sustained damage from that from the cruise, so we could definitely there's a relation point on that and everything. So we'll get into that before we get started, guys. Again, because I do got to sell some stuff out there to make some money. This is the K Sport caliber, six piston caliber. It's pretty big. My hand is pretty big. Got it right there in front of the caliber, huge. So this guy's going to give you the stopping power you need to stop on the track. Don't really recommend this for guys who are going to drive daily if you don't use stopping power because it's a waste of money, to be honest. And that's from a dealer telling you it's a waste of money. So if you're going to track your car, you want to stop in power, definitely get these. Check me out at pinkustylestore.com. Also for Bridge Moto, as you guys see from the Getaway Driver, there was a lot of crashes out there and some guys in their tow hooks out there. So you definitely want to have that tow hook out there so when they crash your shit up, they can pull you away for season 2 if they have a season 2 and everything. So it's looking good out there and stuff right there. And also for the guys who don't, you don't want to race your car, you don't want to get it damaged, you just, you're scared. Everybody's not for the track and for the actual stuff. You can read about it in the magazines. So you got the Option Magazine here. I'm a dealer for Option Magazine and Drift and Goku for the guys who want strict drift content. So Option Magazine is more so for your overall time attack grip. A little bit of drifting, but Drift and Goku, of course, is all drifting and everything. So again, pinkustylestore.com. Check those out and everything. Or any business down on the pinkustyle.com, we'll get to it. So anyway, man, it's getting right to it, man. Again, thank you guys for your time. Thank you, Brian, for just jumping in. Again, I just watched it on 2 days ago and everything, and you hit that gate, and then the second one, you got smashed between a rock and a hard place and everything, so to speak. So, but
someone sent a torpedo at me.
Yeah. So again, before we get into it, man, again, we'll pretty much Lex will ask you stuff, and again, you guys are linked because you went through the same process, so we can kind of correlate that. So before we get into it, man, what got you into maybe the cars and the car life and everything, man? What got you to this point today where we speak at, man?
All right. Well, first, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. That's actually super dope because I know I've been seeing you doing your thing out there. Also, I see them lacrosse sticks, so I already got questions because I was attacked, so I'll be in here.
I was defender, man. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we get on each other's nerves immediately on the field. Yeah. Right on the crease. But for me in racing, so the first thing I always tell people, and this is a true story, my mom will back this up because she has to. My first word as a child was race car. Compound word out the gate.
Already in debt, man.
Already in debt.
Yeah.
So for me, I've always liked cars. My dad he liked cars. He liked stuff like that. But what really kicked things off with me is so back in that time period, Hot Wheels was involved with NASCAR a lot.
Right.
And Kyle Petty drove number 44, the Hot Wheels car. Flyest shit I'd ever seen. Flyest thing I'd ever seen. I probably shouldn't swear, right? My bad.
Fucking yeah.
Oh no, that's all good. Yeah, that's all good.
All right, cool. So that was the coolest shit I'd ever seen as a kid. So it wasn't my parents laugh because they'd be like, "Why?" Because he wasn't that great. Let's be honest.
Right.
Back then they didn't have stages, so you'd be 45 laps down. But all I cared about was that there's a Hot Wheels car out, and I was just like, "Yo, I want to go fast. Right. I want to do this." And really, I just kept messing with that. I've always liked competing. I liked battling with people. So Mario Kart came out for the N64. It was a wrap. That's when I realized, my dad would beat me. My brother would try. And things got so crazy. And then I realized, hey, if I hit that drift button.
Oh yeah, that jump drift.
I turn early.
You gotta drift the whole rainbow
track. Take more speed through the corner. Yeah.
And I started picking
the same shit. We're hella competitive, maniacally competitive. When you realize that it ain't about getting the boost, you can carry more speed through the corners. It was over with for Mario Kart at that point.
Yeah, man. So so again, start straight from the beginning. You were into it because NASCAR. So again, I seen. I kind of wanted to hit the stuff early because the show definitely promote the show. Guys, go check it out. Discovery Plus. Again, Lex was in the first episode, and then Brian. What episode were you in? Because I just it was
episode
7.
Episode 7.
And actually, man, after the Lex one, I got crazy busy. Then I just binged them all, and yours happened to be up when they came at the same time. So, the one thing I caught in there, of course, we'll talk about. I mean, was the first thing that caught my mind was the music thing, DJ and all that stuff like that. And then also, man, it's just one thing I want to talk about because a lot of people try to avoid it, but it is what it is, man. We're all black guys here. We're all from Zulu tribe or wherever. We don't know. We can't track it down yet unless you do the ancestry. But we're from we've all come from various tribes in Japan, right? I mean, sorry, Africa, not Japan. Not Japan. My bad, dude. It's a long.
We are everywhere.
We are everywhere.
But anyway, man, like we all come from different tribes where we were here, we raced and everything. And then, to be honest, man, because people shy away from it, we're the minority in a racing scene. Because you're normally used to our guys doing only drag racing, big donks, stuff like that, and we're riding around in these, German and Japanese cars. Like, dude, what's this little four banger shit that you guys are kicking out, or this rotary thing that you over there drifting with, or doing what you're doing, man? So, for you coming up, man, and like, what was life like? And Lex, the next question, man, for sure, just chime in. Growing up and everything, and then getting into motorsports, man, how was it for you in middle school, high school? And not want to do the typical black things and stuff like that, so to speak.
Like that's the answer to the question.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was really, really interesting because like even when I first started, I got my first car, I had a second gen Scion XB, right?
Okay.
So that was like high school. So like in like going back and even going into middle school, like I was the weirdo, I was the one who's like, yo, we're about to have a game night. Yo, let's play Gran Turismo. Who's trying to play Drive Club? Like, what's up with some Rush 2049?
Hey, perfectly normal.
Like, what we trying to do? And like, and I also realized that I think just most of them was just trash. But
yeah,
it was like this. For some people, what I realized, like the people in my age group, they thought it was kind of weird, but it was always like their parents who were like, so you already know what a carburetor is. So like for me, I just decided I just want to do this for myself. Like I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna have fun with it. And like as soon as I got my first car and I got that Scion, like second day it was home, I was already tearing stuff out of it, changing all the lights. I had everything in there blue, and I had like it just became like a thing for me to do because I wasn't really interested in doing with I would say what my stereotypical group was into at the time. Right. I also had a job, which which I think just like like you gotta like once you like earn money, it kind of changes your perspective. So like,
hey, speaking of that, what was and Lex, same question for you, man. What was the first thing you bought with your money that you earned yourself, man? Do you remember that object? Like I'm talking about from an actual like a real like job with taxes and everything. Taxes been taken out the check, like not on the table because I got some under the table money. But why you think about it?
Mine was hilarious.
What was it, man? Your first thing you bought?
I paid tickets that I got.
Tickets for what?
I paid for tickets.
Racing.
The second I got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the second, my very first car that I owned was an 86 Volkswagen Scirocco. You could not tell me it wasn't a rally car.
Death
you
trap.
couldn't tell me what the best thing on earth. I was beating your ass in this car. And my very first ticket I got, because I had to beat my homies on the freeway, I jumped in carpool and got a carpool ticket solo.
So y'all related.
That's what led me to getting a job.
Yeah.
And I had to pay that $374.
So y'all related already because I seen Brian's face like that when you said Scirocco, and we know Scirocco is one of the most underrated cars. It's fast. In Baltimore,
absolutely,
they were fast. People were like, what the fuck's this little Volkswagen thing? Like, nah, dude, that thing's a rocket. And they flip over. Yeah. I don't know why my girl Barbara, she flipped two of them over. I don't know what happened to Barbara, but she flipped.
I flipped mine.
What's up? Is that a common thing with the Scirocco or?
I guess they just incite bozo activity. I was wilding out.
She rolled too.
Bro, here's how I rolled mine. I fucking found the handbrake worked amazingly. And I'm going down the streets, and I'd pull the handbrake and hold it up, and I'd slide down the street on gas, keeping the car sideways,
Right.
and then I'd get to the intersection of the street I wanted to go down and hook and go through the intersection, down the street. I developed this skill that I thought was immaculate. I go to my cousin's house, and I'm like, yo, come outside, I'm about to show you some shit. I went down that hole going like 70, and I did it, and the car didn't hold where it was at because I was going like 3 times faster than I had ever tried it. Man, that car spun, and it went into the curb, hit the curb, went up, and rolled.
Oh.
Yeah, man. So, Brian, you remember what the first thing you purchased with like some money you earned?
Yes, I do. You flipped that thing.
Yeah,
my first sign didn't make it too far either. To be honest, I said my first. The first thing I bought with money that I really bought. I'm blurring. It's one of two. They probably happened right. They probably happened the same weekend.
Yeah.
I bought myself a pair of proper DJ headphones from it was a Guitar Center back then. It was something different.
Guitar Center. That was the name of it.
It had to have been Guitar Center. I was in Binghamton. So it had to be Guitar Center. Or I bought a Lego car set. One of the two, like off the shelf. I was like, I'm walking into Target and I'm like, yo, this is mine.
Yeah.
$20, fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, for me, man, I just is thinking about it, man. I'm definitely going somewhere with this, man. For me, the first thing I bought with my summer job money was a Wu-Tang Forever. It just came out that weekend, and I bought the CD and I lost it the same day, and then I bought the cassette first because cassette was still a thing back then.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
And I left it on a bus, man. In Baltimore, you leave something, it's gone. So I came back, and it was I ran back to the bus, and somebody had swiped it because the bus was like, when a bus go to the subway, I'm not sure how it is in New York or which one, they chill for about 15 minutes. And somebody grabbed it, and I ran back to the bus, already gone. So I went and bought this. So I bought the cassette and the CD. So Wu got a double dip for me in that same day. And I bought the CD and the CD player, my first CD player on the same. That was the first things I bought, man, ever with my own tech.
But see, what happened was you listened to it and knew that shit was fire.
Yeah.
And knew you had to get
I didn't get to because it was a double tape. I only got to the first tape, and man, and I put it back in there, and then I was listening to Mobb Deep, and I left both the whatever, man. So that was it. But man. So I'm getting that, man. It's like that was like the first thing was we purchased, and like far as the last year and two, like this, you guys getting ready for the Getaway Driver, man. I already talked to Lex about it, and Lex, you can ask his next question, man. I already talked to Lex about it. And it's like the amount of money we spend on these cars, man. It's kind of like it becomes a blur, and like you nailed it. It's like, bro, I don't know what I bought 6 months ago. Like it's probably not installed, and everything. So yeah, man. So like, hey, Lex, man, you got any questions for Brian, man? Let's go ahead. I don't want to take up the.
No, we're good. We're flowing. So here's the funny thing, right?
Yeah.
So getting to what this show was about.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, Brian, as a kid, what was your first experience? What was that first feeling like when you saw them cherries and blueberries light up behind you and you got your first ticket?
Yo, okay, that's what's the funny thing. That's two separate occasions, just so you know. The first time I can remember the cherries going off, I wasn't driving. I was actually still a kid.
Yeah.
But so like my family's from Ohio.
Gotcha.
And we lived in New York at the time. So my parents had a Suburban, maroon, 96, all steel body. Nice, right? It was cool.
5.3 liter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my mom's from Cleveland, so like we was going through. So we're going. Yeah. So we're going through, and we get lit up, and I remember looking around like, I don't understand why we're getting pulled over.
Yeah.
I know the speed limit because my dad was telling it to me, and it was the first time I'd ever seen my parents like, whew. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, something's not right. It was literally one of those. Hey, why you New York people here? What you doing? And I remember the dude flashed his light and saw me, and I was just like, Kids back here. Y'all good.
Yeah, so see, man, like see the kids. So back then, man, like they see it, like it's like, man, you know, this ain't we ain't trying to get onto the political stuff and what's going on now, but it's like now they see a kid and they're like, all right, whatever. Like, so what were you doing?
Yo, we don't
like,
care now.
It's like now, like, you know, back then they seen the kid smiling, like the dude's like, I got 2 kids home. They cool, you know what I mean? The kid ain't looking distressed, ain't looking dirty, like they kidnapped him. He's good, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you got a Game Boy, that means, you know, you're definitely doing a little bit better than normal. So that's crazy, man. So like, you know, the one, I mean, again, Lex, again, like I already know a lot of stuff about Lex, man, and we both could chime on this and speak on this to all of us can. Like one thing I picked up in your, so Lex said they were trying to get him to be they were trying to
cocky
and everything. Then on yours, did they give you any of that stuff, or were you just keeping it how you keep it, man?
So
and a little banter is good, man. So I enjoyed like it wasn't, it was cool. You were confident.
Yo, yeah. But Lex, did you got to meet Ian and everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Big head Ian. Ian with the big head. Yeah, we still text.
Okay. Yo, he is. Yo, so all right. So this is good because you know Ian, because like, so first off, shout out to Ian. Appreciate you, bro.
What did Ian draw?
So
did he was already on?
Ian's a producer.
Okay.
He's one of the producers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's one of the producers, and you'd probably call him as like, I guess like almost like the talent handler.
Gotcha.
Like he was really like our liaison. Yeah, liaison.
Really, he was. Yeah, he was on hand. He was hands on with us a lot. He'd be the one texting us most of the time.
Pause. He wasn't like touching you or nothing like that. He's like
handling like that. Oh, pause. Yeah, no, he was talent management.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Talent management. That man has he's an Emmy. I didn't even know that. We video chatted once, and I'm seeing this big thing on his desk. And I'm like, it was like on like his side desk, and I'm like, yo, who are you?
So what was up with him?
So like he thankfully, I think from our conversations, he was able to kind of get an idea of like the person that I was or that I am. And they definitely tried to get a little bit of the shit talker in me to come out.
Right. Okay. It's there.
Oh, it's absolutely there.
Yeah, so I'm getting to know you, so I like, you know what I mean? I don't know, you know, some people like, you know, it takes a lot to get them to that point. Me, it's like, nah, huh? Like, it's easy.
So, like, I can go there so fast.
Yeah, okay.
I can go there so fast. But I always, like, I've learned, like, I've lost enough times that I always try to remember, hey, look, if you're not in a familiar area, you're not at home, you know, like, that's the thing, you know, like, I know, I don't know showbiz like crazy, but I know enough that I know what sells.
Right.
And I know what they like to see. And there's questions they would ask me, and I'm like, okay, I know what the answer they're looking for is.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it over here.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna put my little spin on it, and Ian would be in the background like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that one joint went out from Farouk, because you know, and that's crazy how because you know Lex knows Farouk, and
Farouk is the homie.
Yeah, man,
he's cool.
That motherfucker was not giving up. We'll get into that, man. He was going for it, but like when I think either the other guy, the guy with the truck, or somebody said something, and you was like, yeah, like that's nice, or you said something that was like. It was like you could have said more, but you was like, yeah, you said something to somebody that was real short. I can't. And I was like, that shit. I was just dying laughing. I was like, because you could have said so much more. Because like, for example, the dude with the tourist who was on the other show, the drag racing show, which I know me and Lex talked about that. I noticed there were some guys from we'll talk about that. But he was like, he seemed like he's just naturally like that. And it's easy to do that and everything. So it was like he was perfect for what they wanted because
professional shit starter.
Yeah, and everything. So we will talk about that later, man. But just getting started on your stuff, man. I definitely noticed that, and I wanted to because Lex, Lex told me that they tried to egg it out of him. He's like, "No, I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be,"
But see, the cool thing was when Ian was like. He's hitting me like, nah, I wanted you, so I'm handling you, because when we were having the Zoom meetings, they were trying, no, give me that shit talker. Who would you be if you were to be in the NBA? What personality of shit talk would you be? I was like, well, if I start talking shit, I'm like Gary Payton. I'm gonna talk all kind of crazy shit to you, and like, be in your face with it, and you can't tell if I'm joking, if I'm playing or whatever. But I'm like, it takes a lot to get to me, get me to that point.
Right.
But so Ian knew who and what I was and what I was all about. Yeah. But when we got there in the other direction, man, give me that, little. He couldn't say, give me that nigga shit.
Yeah.
Give me that, that
give me
shit.
the urban talk.
But but it's like I could tell what he, wanted, but I'm like, cause that ain't, I'm saying, that ain't me. Like, I'm not. This ain't a place for me to troll, because the cameras never stopped running. There were 5 to 7 cameras. Yeah, and the mics, exactly. I'm glad you said that. And the mics were always hot. It did not matter when the cameras weren't pointed at you or you thought they were pointed at you. The cameras were pointed at you, and the mic were always hot. Yeah. So no matter what was said, they've got that to use that at any time. Yeah. So you really kind of, like, this was a reality show. They had whatever they needed to use to get to you. Like, so that's why when Donnie, you and I had the conversation about with Michelle, when she and I were talking, I'm looking at her and I'm pointing at the mic. I'm like,
right.
Because I'm like, I don't know if this is a real conversation with you or not, because the camera right there and the mics are hot. So I was like, I don't know how to go about this. So it was a real weird, uncomfortable world. But yeah, they tried to get me to be that, but I think what they ended up getting instead was better, because that's me. And most of that was after they already fucked me. So I was like, well,
you get, man. I noticed.
Make the best of this situation.
One thing I noticed was the, and I don't know if that was something that they told you guys about, was the, and I was shocked when the guys had broke hard, but they made it to the night session. They was giving them the spare cars, the minivans, and the whatever. Did they tell you guys that, or was that something?
Hell no, I had no idea about that.
So that's wild, man.
So I knew about that, and what it was, and the reason why I knew about that was a part that they didn't show on my process of the show. So I had no brakes. They drained my brake reservoir. My shit was dry. That whole run I did was no brakes. It was handbrake. So I kept saying, I need time to fix my car and figure this out. They were like, kept rushing us through everything. Hero shots. Let's go over here. Briefing with the producers.
Yeah, that's still
and all this. And then it's hotel. And I'm like, wait, my fucking car. Like, I don't have no brakes. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Right? But then they say, well, if you can't get it fixed or you don't feel confident enough to drive your car, we have cars for you to use. And I'm like, I didn't come here to drive nothing else but this.
Right.
And so then it was like, just give me some brake fluid. And that was like 5 minutes before cameras.
And my bad, Lexis, when you still, like, again, we already, like, Brian, this is probably your first time hearing about it if you didn't see the other podcast.
Oh, yeah. This actually is. Because it's funny, Brian and I are in the same group. We were so tight-lipped about everything, we didn't know we were on the show.
Hell yeah.
We didn't know each other was on the show. I walked into the garage and I saw his car and said, oh shit. So I took a picture of him. But then I was like, well, let me wait, because I don't know if he knows. I don't know what's going on. I'll go back home before I sent the picture.
Right.
And I said, 2 and 2 didn't make 4, because he didn't know his car was sitting in there for that whole time. So I think when I did.
Unwashed, by the way. Unwashed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a thing. But when I sent him a picture of his car, he's just seeing a picture of his car. So he don't know what that's about or what it was from. But yeah, we didn't know, so we weren't like communicating with that. So yeah, he probably doesn't know. They drained my brakes. I didn't have any brakes that whole run. Obviously, because we all sat with the rules guys and all the people from Discovery Channel, what they're supposed to do, what we're supposed to do, what we can't do, what they can't do. All of that shit wasn't what it was when we got out on that tarmac. So that's how my shit went.
We didn't have a driver's meeting with the pursuers.
No, we didn't. But I asked them specific questions, because remember that Zoom meeting where they had us all on there? I said, what are they driving? He said it don't matter. I said it fucking does.
Bullshit.
I was like, it fucking does matter, because if it's a truck with bash bars, that's way over my head. So that's why I was pushing them like, yo, y'all better send me some money for a roll cage then. Because I was like, if you're not telling me what I'm driving against, you're responsible for my safety. So then I went and got the seats, the cage, and all the shit, right? And so those are I was asking specific questions. So when we had our drivers meeting, I said, yo, again, what are we driving against? It doesn't matter. You'll see them when you're out there. Bruh. Okay. All right. So it was just like, okay, y'all not going to tell us that. What does the gates look like? You'll know them when you see them. Okay.
Yes, because I mean, it could have been made out of metal.
We made them pull them out for us. I was like, no, you need to show us what that shit. Yeah, because
this is interesting to me because we were the first. I was the first driver. I had no clue how you guys went about.
So did they tell you the color of the gate?
Like, how did you? No, bro. No. They didn't tell us shit. We didn't know anything at all.
Yeah. Every single one of them shits was absolutely blind, and like, one of the blessings I think that was, at least for my group, is that one, we had Farouk because he had done hyperdrive before, right?
Right.
And in my group, I don't remember all the other people, but I know there was a couple other people who had done time attack stuff. So like, we're used to asking the questions,
right? Yeah.
Because our cars generally aren't built to get hit. So like, we ask questions about the bull bars, and we're asking, when you talk about rules of engagement, like, are the same rules applying to us and to the pursuit?
Can you stop and you keep going? And
yeah. What are the hand signals? What do we need to do? Do we, like, one of the things one of the things that we had talked about is we shouldn't be having cars with bull bars out here because we're not trying to destroy stuff. I mean, a pit maneuver don't need a bull bar. What do you need a bull bar for? What do you need that for? We don't need that. As you see, like in my run, there's that big SUV that kind of like shows up. Now, granted, that's something they told us about. The third vehicle is going to be. I don't know if it was for you guys, if it was the truck, but for us, it was the truck. I don't know.
Yeah, it was the truck.
It was the truck, yeah, and that was like one of those. Hey, look, well, this is kind of like where I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but one of the things was the SUV should not be actively involved in capturing. You know what I mean?
He's just there,
blocking, Or
he's not going to be. Should not be an active participant in physically capturing, is what they said.
Gotcha.
But you were in the same rules meeting as me, it's like, there shouldn't be anything where, no one in this thing should be out going for blood, and we're not going to be like, hey, look, we're just going to like, tee off this and just be like, you can't come through.
They were smacked. Lex.
Okay.
You and
so the rule that got me, that they blew and destroyed my shit, was something that I asked them in the meeting. 37 intersections. You get an intersection first. What does the cop do? What does the pursuer do? All he could do is block that route of travel, and you have to find another way. I say, okay, but what if it's close? Tie goes to the runner. I say, okay, so that means I get the intersection. He doesn't do anything. Right. And there's no T-bones, correct. And there's no head-on collisions, correct. The only collisions that they can do in a safe space is going to be a pit maneuver, or if you go into a spot that you kind of can get sideswiped or blocked in. I said, okay, I'm fine with that. I said, but no head-ons, no T-bones, and meeting at the intersection. Because my concern was, I try to fly through an intersection, this motherfucker says, hold on tight, buddy, boom, and sends me on the Timbuktu. So that's why I was specifically, so that's why I was specifically asking for that. So now, if you go to my episode with me with no brakes coming through that roundabout, and when I come around the high bush and I see him, that's why I said, it's no problem. I'm about to go by him this way. And then he drove down and slammed me. So what they cut out was me saying, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was like, you stupid motherfucker. I was like, are we supposed to be getting hit like this? You're supposed to not hit me. I'm supposed to be able to get by you. I was like, this is some bullshit. I was like, you just destroyed my whole fucking car, ended the run in because I knew it was hella short. I was like, we didn't even fucking get a chance to do nothing. What type of shit is this? I'm going crazy.
Right.
And you remember, mics are hot. So I'm cussing everybody out from here to Delaware. And that's why when the drone flies over on my scene, you see all of the personnel and producers up there at the top left of the screen. Because I'm like, yo, fuck him. What the fuck is this shit? Y'all motherfuckers lie.
You're cool.
You're cool. Ian, you're cool. It was just like, what the fuck was that, blood? Like, I ain't, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so then part of the conversation Michelle and I are having, I'm looking at her like, I don't fucking believe you because this is Hollywood. And she kept looking at me. She's like, nah, I'm for real. Do you trust me? That's when they edited the, I trust you. And that was after 10 minutes of conversation, right? And then dude like, oh, well, you could back up and we could this and that. I'm like, no, you lied once, we're done. I was like, I don't even know where my fucking control arm is in this mix. He's like, well, you're not leaking. Then I was like, it's a rotary. You ever seen a leaking rotary? Just joking. Because at that point, I realized, I said, you know what? This is TV. So fuck it. They had already fucked the car up. So then I just started making jokes and was like, man, whatever. I'm not about to sit up here on television being a mad black dude. Fuck this shit. It's over. You know?
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, man, that's like that's like the one cat who got out the car. He had that like hearse kind of deal, and he like
he was mad
and he threw the shit in there. It's like, you know what I mean? I hate to say it, man. He's a white dude. You know, he could do this. It's man. It sucks that we gotta be like that.
We're on a group email. You saw that email conversation.
Ooh,
he's that tight.
Yeah,
he's that tight.
Yeah, that, and I'm over here like, I'm not gonna say it wrong.
We both kind of had the same idea. I was like, I'm staying out of this shit. I'm reading everything.
I'm gonna get my little here and say, hey, we respect each other, and you know, people who do racing are passionate.
Yeah. Hey man, that's the one thing about it, man. It don't matter what facet or wherever you're in, people are gonna be people, man, and it is what it is. But man, like, you know, overall, man, just get like, of course, Lex was on here before a bunch of times. Brian, it was just a cool experience. And like one thing again I noticed is you both, you can kind of, even though like Lex, you didn't get far, Brian, you made one gate or whatever. I definitely noticed more doors opening because again, Farouk, I seen the cat with the Taurus was on a drag show, so it's like they're gonna recycle you guys, man. And you know, you definitely put it. The attitude was proper, the car was proper, so I think it's gonna open up more doors, just like those cats got in other shows because they already seen you guys out there and stuff like that.
I would hope so. Like that was like one of my like kind of my thought process going into it was, okay, you've done one thing before that was pretty cool, because I got to go out to Cali and do some stuff, but this is on a different level,
right? And
you're going to be around people who this is their 740th show they've done,
right?
So do your best, keep your attitude on point, because I know myself, I don't have the energy to develop a character, like if I was going to wear like, I don't know, like all blue. Hawaiian shirt. I don't know. Like, like people like they make a thing, right? I know I couldn't do that. So I was like, if anyone's gonna see this, I want them to know that this is what Brian's attitude. This is what my personality is and how I drive.
Yeah,
more importantly, how I drive.
Real quick, I had to say the other cat with the Z was on. I forgot his name, but
Matt.
Yeah, and I didn't.
He's from LA area,
and he does. He does solid work and he's a good driver, man. It's like I don't know what it is, man, but
the dude that came back for the night run.
Yeah, but
him or the guy with the blue Z?
No, the guy, he's the black guy with the
red Z.
It's like the black.
Oh,
the red Z had the like glitter top. Anyway, what I'm getting at, man, is he's an African American. Again, guys there who watch and listening, we're not NAACP. We're just we're just making light, and like it was like, dude, we don't. Generally, most black people don't put on like that, man. It's what you see is what you get.
Right.
You do get the clowns out there. You do get the soldier boys, and you do get the guys out there who that put on. But he seemed like he was chill, and he was like the thing about all y'all. And I don't know if there's any more black guys in the show. Y'all was all comfortable in who you were, and I could see that came through to me watching. Like if I don't know who you are, just watching it, you were like, hey, I'm Brian, I'm Lex, this is my car. We can say some cool stuff, and then like, you know what I mean, but we comfortable. We ain't gotta act out like that. And I think that's the difference, where you had the other guy who was acting like a cowboy, and the other guy who was, not nothing against Matt, he's like a good driver, he had the banana shirt on. It's like we ain't gotta do all that. You know what I mean? You just had on, Brian, you look like you just wearing something that you would just wear on a regular normal day. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference. I was wearing
pants, so that was a rarity.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, we got long.
Yo, so here's one thing I want to hit on, because your competitive driving.
Yeah, because we didn't get into that. That's a whole
The car that you brought on the show is actually something that you've been competitively piloting for a while. What made you find your way to the Volkswagen dedicated enough
good question, man,
to push that chassis and platform?
I got you. So that's a good question too.
And how do you deal with check engine lights, man? Just go ahead.
I do that shit. It's gone. It's gone. Shout out to Stratified. They tuned that shit and said it's gone. I don't see it.
Yeah.
But all right. So to explain how I got to the Volkswagen, I'm gonna tell you about the Scion. And also this is a music tie-in here too. So the reason they even got into Scion, because one, Toyota killed their advertising back then. The way they had the price, the features, the super slow was all perfect. So my dad would take me we would go to dealerships and just check shit out, right? Like that was his thing. We would we're gonna look at BMWs today. Then we're gonna look at Ford. Like, we didn't give a shit because it was just like, whatever, we're gonna do it. But Scion used to have these CDs in their front thing, the Scion CD sampler packs. And it'd be like, it was a mixtape of all these DJs and stuff, and I found the group Jurassic 5 off mixtape number 5.
Right.
And Jurassic 5 got me into DJing, because I found Newmark, Cut Chemist, and Turntable. And that was from being in a dealership, and they're playing the music I liked, so I wanted a Scion. I was like, girl, I want this box. This is so cool. And couple years go by. At one point, I had one of the fastest NA Scions. I didn't know nothing about boost yet. Actually, my buddy Kyle was the TC. But I would go to drift events they would have in this area called Owego, and they would do it in it was like a circle track, but they had an infield. I would run on the outside loop. Anyone who came up on the outside loop, I was running you. At like 16, 17 years old. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I didn't know nothing about tire pressures. I don't know anything about checking oil. Like, I was just like,
running. I just got gas.
Right. I put it in sport mode because it was automatic. I slammed it. And I would just burn laps. And it was funny because I realized, I'm actually, NASCAR. I'm pretty good at this,
Right.
And when I graduated college and I did everything and I moved here to Syracuse, I was like, I was on the road at some point, and it just wasn't working. It's just too slow. I think it made 154 wheel horsepower, which is more than stock it made because we had done headers. So all my first mods were there: headers, exhaust. I had done a whole sound system that I had wired. We had done I had changed some suspension stuff. And when I was like, it's time for getting a new car. I need something. I don't want to have to drive around at this point shitbox all the time.
Right.
And so in 2014, I went out and test drove every single hot hatch or fast-ish car that was under. I mean, everything. Fiestas, the Mazda 3, trash. No offense to they started making bullshit after there's your version car, there's your Gen Lex, and then obviously the one that people know from Initial D. And the Mazda Speed 3 was cool, don't get me wrong. But the Mazda 3 now, no, I wasn't doing anything with that. And the first time I hopped in the GTI, which made 200 plus, okay? 200.
It's a big thing. Yeah.
225 horsepower, stock. And I drove it and I went, and I felt boost kick the first time I went, what have I been doing? Why did I even spend money on this other car? And so first the speed happened, and then one of the first things that really caught my attention was its handling. So the GTI has more or less a 1-to-1 steering. So you do this, you're more or less at full lock.
Wheels. Yep.
You're not doing all this and coming back. You're here. And it was so on point. It was so stable that I went, I have to have this. I don't know nothing about Volkswagen. Nothing. Except I knew it looked cool and it was fast as shit and I could afford it.
Right.
And it came with stick. And it had an LSD. Because I made sure, because I was being extra selfish. I made sure, because I should be to my car. I went and got an all black 4-door, because I was still DJing at the time, so I needed 4 doors. Stick, because I wanted to learn learn and like get better at driving a stick, because that just seemed like the coolest thing possible. Turbocharged, and it had the big brakes on the front. So like my car from the factory had the performance pack brakes, the LSD. Like I was like, it's a base model though, because I ain't got no sunroof. It's a base model, but it had the plaid seats, and I was like, man, this is super cool. And I had a job because after I graduated college, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna do this. I was working at Valve in case someone wants to know. So like, you can do shit, just be smart with your money.
Yeah.
And it was just cool. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I had no intentions of taking this car and turning it into what you see now. This wasn't even. I didn't even know what autocross was when I bought this car. Like I knew, like I was into like, I would watch IMSA or Pirelli World Challenge at the time, some multi-class racing, but I wasn't a student of the art. I was still playing shit like Drive Club and still, what's the other arcade game I was playing the racing games that were the games,
Right.
Yeah, Need for Speed, Midnight Club.
So I was learning, I'm like, I gotta like hit the brakes for this. This is interesting. And I would just hit a button to drift. Because that's what shot. Just like, you just pull the e-brake. There you go. And so what happened is eventually I met some really cool people in my area who were into Volkswagens, because at the time it's the new car.
Right.
And I was still in the car scene. Like I would try to find, hey, where the meet at? Where we going? What we doing? And I eventually found out that this car is super capable. Like, probably dangerously capable, considering the relative cars I was around. And I had a buddy who invited me to come do autocross for the first time. He's like, hey man, you like racing, why don't you come do this autocross event? And I said, okay, I don't really know. I mean, I think I'm the shit, so let's try it. I wasn't fast.
Hey, we all got those stories, man. Like, fuck, I suck.
Yeah.
Like,
and you realize, like, oh shit, I don't have enough nuts for that.
I remember for my second run in the autocross, only 60-second runs. I'm like, why are my brakes smoking? What is this? Why are my pedal go soft? And I was just like, I was trying to understand what was going on. In my first event was like, it was okay. Like I was like, all right, I'll come try it again. And this is how everything kicked off. And everything derailed so fast. The second event we had at a go-kart track. So no cones. Wow. Yeah. So this was my first time racing on a track, even though it wasn't really that big. And I was actually doing really, really well. At one point I was second in my class, and I was like, whoa. And Kiana was there. So we're like, whoa, this is really cool. You're doing a great job, Brian. And last session of the day, we have a slight drizzle. And remember, I don't know shit. I don't know anything about reading engine temps. I don't know anything about coolant temps. What is camber? Never heard of it. What type of tires do I have? I don't know. They came on the car. Stock everything. And I did my last run. Obviously, I messed it up, and I decided I'm going to go as hard as hell. Like, I'm just going to burn this lap. And I came across the finish line. And I was just so frustrated. By the time I got on the brakes, I didn't realize the car wasn't slowing down. So your boy had a little bit of an off-road section and had a little bit of fun with that. Still got my word for the day. Put it across a ditch. That was super fun. Smashed up the front bumper. Shoot. And I went, fuck. Okay. And this is, I swear it must have been set up. The shop that took care of my car once I brought it there, because I called insurance, was a race shop. They raced Miatas and Champ Car.
Oh yeah.
They did stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? They had done autocross, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can take care of this. We can do this." It's like, "Hey man, what happened to your brakes?" And they're like, "Oh, it got super long. It got super long." And oh, well, you probably need to have different pads. They were teaching me different stuff, and from that point forward, that's when first time I met someone that was actually into competing,
Right.
not just the cars.
Yeah.
And that changed everything.
Dude, that right there is important.
Same story.
That's like,
I have
again,
the same exact story.
That's important right there. And Lex, you would definitely speak on it, man, and drop your knowledge on that, man. It's like that those people you meet, man. It's like it really changed. It's like if I met some dudes who were in the dunks when I got that job at the movie theater, I probably wouldn't have got. I probably wouldn't have been out there like racing Civics, because the guys I met had Civics, Integras. There was one guy with an Altima. One guy had a Cavalier, but it was manual and it looked like an import, but it was well, technically it is a Toyota. Yeah, that's a whole different story, man. People know the Cavalier. The Cavalier is over here is a Toyota. But anyway, man,
right.
It's crazy those people you meet, man. Like you said, when I went in the same thing. I had my instructor actually on my podcast, guy Brian Garfield, back in the early podcast, and his family ran the WDC region SCCA. When I met those guys, I was all like, yeah, I could do this and do that. Man, that first time out there, I didn't finish the course. He was like, you're braking too much. He was like, your brakes don't work. And he nicely just took my shit apart. Like, this sucks. The turbo's cool, but this sucks. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, dude, you're coasting too much. You're either on the gas, you're on the brakes, you're not just coasting. And that one event, the one autocross event, changed my let me know I wasn't as good as I thought. And it just helped me out, man. So those people you meet out there, and guys who are watching and listening, surround yourself with legit people, not people who just read catalogs and magazines and quote all this shit. Guys out there who are on the ground doing it, because those the one, even if they not doing it properly, because you can have people doing it improperly. You know what I mean?
Because that's my first experience with guys doing it improperly. But they led me to the racetrack. So he was a fuck nigga, and he robbed me of all kind of money for doing all these jobs that I was doing. But he, as much as I want to bloody his mouth, he led me to racetracks for the first time, and that's where I got my experience. But I want to go back to what you said, which is very important, which I tell my kid. It's extinct. Used car lots. Me as a kid, I would drive to used car lots, look at all these cars that I was looking at in magazines. I'd have a composition notebook written down with all the cars I wanted to find and locate, the trim that I specifically wanted to find, and I want to test drive, and I would go and I'd do that. My first car was a Scirocco. I was driving this beat up. I flipped the Scirocco. We flipped it back over. I was driving it around. Dents on every quarter panel, every piece of the car, hood, roof. So I'd be driving this car around. Here comes this looks like flipped over ass car pulling up to the car lot. Young kid hops out, but these car dealers would let me test drive these cars. I drive a Ford Escort GT, a 91, 92-ish. Okay, this shit jams. I drove Preludes. This shit jams. I drove every car I could think of. And at that time, I was really into front-wheel drive cars. Then all of my homeboys, Puerto Rican cats, all have V-dubs, GTIs, Rabbits, Jettas, Corrados. He had a G60 and a VR6. And I was like, ooh, this one's supercharged. This feels good. But this one's VR6 and it sounds amazing. And I'm like, oh, but I knew how those felt. And then I felt torque steer. And I'm like, nobody could explain to me at the time what it was. But as I started to look through Turbo Magazine and all these other sport compact cars, and I'd always see the Civic, the 99 SI came out. It has a front diff, and they're raving about the front diff, and they're talking about the lack in torque steer, which that car still had torque steer, but the lack in the wild torque steer. And I said, oh, so a front wheel drive car needs to have a diff to handle good. Okay, cool. So I was going through all of that shit and testing all these cars, and that's in my head at that time, 16, 17, I realized speed isn't the most powerful car, because all my hood homies had IROCs, 5.0 GTs, Firebirds, and me and my brother, he had a B16 CRX, and all my other homies with their car. We would beat they ass on the freeway, and they didn't even want to go to the back roads and turn with us.
No, because
they're like, hell,
they're gonna
fuck
understeer off the road.
Little bing bing cars, little bing bing cars, y'all niggas driving, y'all about to be bing 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 bing. And so I said, okay, so it's not about the power. Fast is just fast. How do I use it? How can I drive it? So that's how I started to look at German cars. Because remember Max Magazine? They had them big fucking flush wheels, slam, tail lights everywhere, fiberglassed up, subwoofers slamming. I was like, damn, those cars is crazy. Hot hatches started to be in my head. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. They're doing this. Damn, that car's fast. Damn, that car got 450 horsepower. What the hell? So I started realizing, Volkswagens put down some power. They handle good. And when I had found myself at my first track day, by this time I had realized I liked rear wheel drive a little bit better. So I was at my first track day, and I was battling with a ton of V-dubs, and at the time, I forget which chassis number, but it was the first M5 after their hiatus. That was there. I was like, damn, these German cars are whooping ass, and I was like really pushing it, and then I'm sliding around because I'm running with these Porsches, 944s, 928s. I'm running with all of these cars, and it's just a ton of German cars on the track at that time. And I'm sliding this little Japanese car around. Dude say stop drifting, boom, and that's how I found drifting. So, you do find yourself in an environment where you're like, this isn't what I expected to be fast. This isn't what I expected to be fast, but fast drivers drive cars fast.
Right.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Real quick, Lex, one thing I will say on both of you guys, even though yours was short, both of you guys, man, you were on pussyfooting. You were killing it. Because I see the collection if I watch the thing, and then I see some people creeping. I'm like, dude, you got this 300 horsepower car and you're creeping? Like, go. Because Lex was going, you went right into like the construction area or whatever they called it. You were going around the little things and everything. Brian was like, nah, I'm looking for that gate, but I'm gone. Like that one, when you went past the intersection, that shit was like, boom. Like, and the guy kept saying, that thing is fast, man. Like, no, the dude's just driving it fast.
Bro, that was the plan. Like once I had this idea. I was like, okay, maybe we can have this be a little fun. It'll be like this cool little thing. But when I was when we were in the so there's like a little building we had to be in when everyone was doing their runs. So I didn't go first, by the way. I could hear Farouk's car.
The carnage. It was like an amplifier sitting up in there. You heard every impact and shit hella loud, didn't you?
Yeah, I could hear shit. And there was
it was like poof.
Yeah, wow. and also I'm gonna put this out. I mean, I sometimes I think it's weird, but I do this thing like I really like data when it comes to like when I was in there. So like when they took me on a little golf cart, which we only got like a brief little look through, I had already tried to memorize the entire layout. How many intersections we have, how many feet it is between each thing, what's the temperature like, what's this ground, what's the tarmac condition going to be like? That's like the type of shit I want to know. And when I saw, because homie's Tesla was still there when we got there, and I saw that and I was hearing shit, and I said, okay, this is not going to be a game for you. This isn't going to be a game for you. So you need to put an end to this as quickly as possible. So change everything. Like I had already decided I tried to think if I was going to be a game show host, if I wanted to be a pain in the ass, where would I put an exit? Where would I put it?
So like for pretty much the ends, yeah.
Yeah, like where am I going to put it? It's not going to be whatever. It's either going to be right next to me, thinking, you're not going to like do that, or it's going to be far, assuming because and especially since they said you start this way. Because you face a certain way. So yeah, when they dropped that flag, my only thing was like, if I can see them, that's great. If I can see them, then I know where they are. And if I know where you are, I know you have to. At least has to follow me. One has to follow me.
Yeah.
Which means that limits how many avenues the second one can potentially come from.
Right.
So if you factor that into where there's like this mini map, like I was trying to have like a GTA map in my head, like
actually when I took a screenshot of Lex car, it looked like the GTA map on the last one and everything. And
where I was watching, like, I wish y'all given us that map.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that same shit. So my goal was go, don't stop. You got the greatest tires you've ever had in your life on the front of this car. You got your acceleration, you got your traction control set the way you need to go. Launch. You're not getting out of third gear. Just go, fly.
Right.
Just
yeah. That in the like I said, the guy, the rally guy, I forgot his name. He kept saying over and over, man, this thing's fast. This thing, because you can tell he's a pro guy, so he can tell. One thing I like is he's seen the ones that were like, whatever, like the guy with the truck or whatever, and he's like, all right, that thing's not gonna track. He was like, no traction, rear wheel drive, light on the rear, you're gonna spin, and he called it. So even though again lecture thing was short, man, they still could see. They were seeing a lot, and it was like they gave props to Michelle, even though she didn't.
If they had have put the actual content of audio in,
right,
where we were talking about my car, that would have. Now I'm sure if I had got through the gate, they would have edited it differently.
Yeah, they made it like a little short. Yeah, truncated. Yeah.
They would have put it in because that's what he was saying. He said, "God damn, you don't have any horsepower." I said, "I don't need horsepower. Why the fuck I need horsepower and loose gravel?" He said, "Oh, this guy's thinking."
And he said it.
Yeah.
He said it later on in the and I think your episode before your episode, Brian. He was like, "Yeah, these guys are all this power." He said in the thing, anything over like 200 and some horsepower is like you're going to be spinning tires. So it's not. It's not the. It's kind of like hyperdrive where now if they do hyperdrive again, guys are going to have this shit waterproof. They're going to have skid plates all the way from front to back. With so now when the next group comes out, it's kind of like you guys set the trend. You were the trendsetters.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna come out with, hey, this big bulky ass hearse is not gonna fit through that spot, man. You can't turn on a dime. So I mean, overall, man, like I said, it was good. It was good to see it, and like I'm glad I seen your post on it, Brian, because I didn't know we actually were buddies already. Because your screen, I mean your name in Wishcom was what Frozone or something on there.
Frozone.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Frozone. Yeah.
So I was like, when you said Brian Smith, I was like, no, his name is Frozone. I was like, I was thrown off right then. So honestly, because after Lex, I mean, I was like, man, Lex crashed out. I don't know anybody. I know other people in the show, but they're not my friends. And then I seen you post. I was like, oh shit, I got another buddy in it. Because Michelle, who drove the Subaru, we're friends on Facebook. We don't really communicate. And I know she does her thing, man. So I was expecting more, but
you want to know what's funny? So I grew up a certain way.
Right.
Got my license. My license was suspended 3 months after I got it, and I went. Got my license at 16. I got my license back from keep getting the suspension extensions.
Right.
I got my license back at 21.
Right.
So I got my back at 21. Now, obviously, I've been in real police chases, a lot of them, some really severe ones too. Right. But, that's when I was younger. So hilarious that some of my hood homies that just saw the TV show, I got so many calls. One of my homies, he called me. He said, as soon as I answered, this is FaceTime. Hell nah, cuz. I knew on mamas, on everything. I could have put all my money on you. He said, how you let him do it? I said, no, it was for TV, right? Yeah, I didn't let him do shit. I was like, no, for one, this was for TV. And like you said, I had a plan to make it entertaining before I got serious and started to shake down the book.
Right.
My original plan was I saw that concrete parking lot area. I said, I want to go over there just to drift because I don't have any brakes.
That was an exit.
Brake, right? So I wanted to go over there just to lay something down. But as I'm coming through that roundabout, because that's why I went directly that way. I wanted to make it entertaining. I saw a dude come out the cut. Oh, shit. My thought process, he had to have come from close to an exit.
Right.
Because as soon as I came out, I went up the area, then I made the left. Here he comes. So in my head, I said, okay, that's got to be an exit over there. I'm going to come back to
protecting it, yeah.
My plan was to make it entertaining. So when I went around, I saw the garbage truck, and I zoned in on it, and I said, nope, that's going to be a route that I take on my way back from sliding.
So you're looking at like that's good.
I'm looking at setting up my moves.
Yeah.
And so as I went through there to see how my car handled in that loose gravel, because I had some tires I've never driven on, and the car was digging. I said, okay, this is gonna be good, right? But as I'm coming around there, I'm scanning and I'm looking, and I saw the other motherfucker with push bars. So I said, sir, no sir, I'm not going over to that skid pad parking lot area. I'm going back through between the garbage truck. Now, they had that camera sitting on the port window, and I could not see my mirror. And because I was going over all this vibration shit, and I think I'd moved my mirror out the way anyway, so I couldn't see behind me. And then as I'm sliding this way, my left mirror is of no use to look behind me, so I didn't know that the dude wasn't behind me. So when I'm coming around, I was going to loop back down that little straight, go by the garbage truck, and then I was like, okay, abort, let me make my way over to where I think there might be an exit. And that's when he came through, hit me. So I had planned to make an entertaining chase. Because it's like
pretty much I expect, pretty much what I think was going to happen with your run is what happened with the guy with the purple BMW, because he put on a fucking drift demo and got the exits, and that was like, I'm like, man, Lex is going to do that, because I mean he drifted through the gate, he got both the gates, and then he was like, nah.
But you see, my car didn't have no power.
Right.
Yeah. So it was picking up speed hella quickly.
Right.
That's why he was saying, God damn, that car's quick.
Right.
It's quick because I can't overpower the tires. And I forgot that I didn't have brakes when that laid over like that ladder that goes on the side of. Yeah, dude, I forgot I didn't have brakes. I was coming up to the motherfucker, and I went and hit the brake. I said, "Oh shit!" And I'm like, "Whoa!" And I slid through that. That was on accident because I came up to it fast and was like, "Fuck!" And I checked out on the Fusion, so they were like, "Oh, he's fast." So that's why I think that's what they were like.
Yeah.
They told us they didn't want us to go. Did they tell y'all this? They didn't want y'all to go faster than like 50 miles an hour in there.
Nah, because you was doing way more than 50 in there.
I was doing 70.
Yeah.
I was doing 70. So that's why they were like, nah, cut blood off. Because I was scooting through that motherfucker. And it was just like, I don't know no better. I just was like, let me make this look entertaining. I'm going to hit every corner with a little bit of slide angle. I'm going to get up and down these roads fast because that's what a chase is supposed to look like.
Right.
Yeah. So when they hit me, I was so gutted, like, and Lex, my whole strategy.
And Lex, that makes sense because I know one thing I noticed is the at times the car speed was not the engine sound. I noticed
if you look at my speedometer, that motherfucker was up towards 80.
Yeah, I noticed that some of the runs they made, like the guys are going slow. Because like Michelle, she creeped the whole time pretty much, and then she took that back route and tried to go around the back, which is smart because nobody did that, and her car was raised up. So I was like, she's going to cut across the field, but then in that field, like they had, that was pretty much like big ass rocks up there. Because anybody who cut across that field, those cars got destroyed, man. So hey, Brian,
they were telling us, they said
don't cut across.
Go across there.
Right.
They said they totaled 3 rental cars.
Going
through there.
Oil pans and everything.
And so they were telling us that shit. Like I'm like,
I wouldn't want there. Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, because that definitely.
I ain't going through there.
And then Brian, for your car, because I mean the way it ended, when they kind of pinched you in there, did it damage your frame?
So thankfully the frame itself from that particular hit, and I'm using the term torpedoed because pinch sounds too gentle.
This shit was like it slid you over, like it like pushed you over into the. Like
if I had hit
the brakes,
If I had hit the brakes, he would have gone head on into that. He would have gone head on.
That would have been cool for camera though, right there, man.
It would have been cool for camera.
Because I don't know if they was doing it on purpose or they were just to make it. Because it seemed like they kind of purposely ran into some objects to make it look like the driver.
So look on that. So one, the night run itself was actually was low key crazy because by that point my nerves was at.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and like I just because I actually had said this. Obviously they can only use so much footage or whatever, but I was like, really, the only way that I can lose this if they decide to either A, not play by the rules, or they just don't care. Because I already knew my car's too fast. I can get around this course way faster than they can. So, any shot where they showed you where like, look, the cop car was like kind of close.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. You saw that gap. You saw that gap. Took him to Gapplebee's.
Right.
But in any case, that was an absolute series of unfortunate events. Because for me, I was getting frustrated because I knew I knew where the exit had to be.
Right.
Like I knew
because at that point in time it was one exit, right?
There's one exit, and like remember I was saying earlier about a third vehicle.
Yep.
So there's a point where I go back to the parking lot where I'd gone through the first gate, because I was like, just in case y'all want to be funny, and put the gate where it was where I already went through, thinking who would go back through there,
right? Because
that's a suicide run if you get caught. On the way back through where the garbage truck was, because they didn't move the garbage truck. I could see the truck. So I could still see him.
Okay.
This way, I could still see him, and I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna go. Like, I need to get. It's got to be over here. It can't be where I'm at right now. It's got to be over there. So like, that part was. I was getting frustrated. I actually ended up going back through the part of the compound. I lapped the shit twice, but to answer your question, thankfully there wasn't any frame damage, because where I got hit for the initial impact was actually exactly where the roll cage sits.
Nice.
For the front part. So shout out to Studio RSR. I appreciate you guys.
First shout out to all the guys that came up the cage, because those cars they gave to people. I'm a stickler. The
cage was like this.
The B pillar was there, and the cage was like down here.
I'm like, if they hit him, he's gonna block.
Wow.
And the one that was in the minivan. I'm like, dude, there was like a 4-inch gap between a bar and a pillar.
Fuck.
They just like found some S13 shit and threw it in the Odyssey or whatever.
Oh, I don't know what that was. I'm happy I didn't see that. Though I probably would have been like, yo, my car broke.
All of them had all the borrow cars had that, man. And hey, man, real quick, the one guy I felt bad as shit for was the Indian cat with the Sunny, and they smashed this shit, man. Like that was across the middle. That was like across the middle linebacker hitting a
and you that was real similar to somebody else's hit. If you notice, like that's a sight unseen. Yeah. Boom! Yeah, I felt that one. That one I went. I was
on my Ambers, man. I don't fuck up my Ambers. That shit. He kept it funny. But but you could tell again. You know, I seen this little thing. You can see right there again where it's something that correlates between you, Lex. They had the lower power. He realized that I don't need 1,000 horsepower to get around this thing. Like he bought that G20 car. That car was one of those cars that got a strong ass e-brake for no reason. That's one of those cars that got that strong. Like, why has this got a strong e-brake? It's front wheel drive. But I was like, man, I was like, fuck, he could have. I think he could have made it, man, if he would have not got hit like that. But
yeah, and that was the thing. You know, they came out. They just blindside. We're coming for it. Like, no apologies. No apologies.
So you kept the $2,000 from the first run.
Yeah.
Was that tax, by the way? Just curious. Were they taxed? Huh? Did they tax that or
taxed?
Oh shit, that's a good question.
Well, she already spent it. Yeah. So you got. I mean, so
let's go.
So I mean, did they cut you a check or they give the bundle back or whatever?
That was a roll of paper, dog.
Yeah. I figured. Yeah.
I checked. I was like, let me see, because if this shit, I might just make it.
He's like,
I got a full tank of gas.
Hey, just pull a couple hundreds off of that shit. Go back in the parking lot.
Right. Yo, now you think about it. Really, I would straight hit them gates and be like, listen, it's only 12. It's only like 24 hours to get back home. We just drive.
The parking lot is the gate exit. The street was right behind us. Yeah. All we had to do was just bust a U-turn and go. Man, it was cool as hell. I got a question for you. Yeah. If you were to do this again, what would you build? If you were going to build something specific for it.
So that's funny, because I didn't understand
cappuccino.
That people were.
I
didn't understand people weren't bringing like their car. Like I thought everybody was like, "Hey, Michelle, your Trans Am car." That don't make no sense to me. Like, oh, you guys have multiple vehicles. Wow. So what I'm thinking. So if I did it again, I would do one of two things. I would either
escalate.
No. I would either bring the GTI again, but I would reinforce the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Or F350 dually.
Oh my god!
Nah, man. He's like rolling coal and shit. Like he's like, nah, man.
Exactly.
You like
listen. I'm gonna drive it the same, and if you hit me, You gonna be hurt.
Yeah, see, man, that's the thing, man. It's like the shows like that, man. It's like, you know, it's the first one, so the first one's gonna be what it's gonna be. Then everybody get to see this stuff, and then because I think, for example, I keep bringing up hyperdrive because they kind of somewhat in the same basket. The cars are gonna be totally different because people seen what happened, but they're
gonna do something specific.
But then again, if hyperdrive is smart, they're gonna add something else that people didn't account for. But I mean, all you gotta do is make sure it can not go into water, make sure you got wipers and stuff like that, and make sure, like, you know, because you got race cars, we don't got like my cars, I don't got HVAC in them, so I don't got defrosters like the dude with the BMW S13. He lost. That guy lost because he couldn't see. I think he would have the dude Axel from France or whatever. Because that
for hyperdrive.
Yeah, that turbo Turbo S13 was like doing work, man, and he was a pro driver too, so you know, different. But
I would definitely do something that is I would do one of the two. Either continue to go with handling and just being quick as shit, because if they can't see you, you're fucking flying, bro.
So, dude, I asked these specific questions. I don't know if you were on this Zoom meeting because I know they did 2 different times. I had to wait for the later one, West Coast time, which would have been mad late for you. But I asked them specifically, do I need to have taillights on? They said no. So, all right, cool. Do I need to have lights on, period? They said no. I'm like, all right, cool. I know how this is going to work. RX-7s, if I pull the high beam while my lights are up, I can see. So I was like, I'm going to do all these manips. Do I have to bring, what kind of car can I bring? You can bring any kind of car as long as it ain't a side-by-side or UTV. I said, all right. Yeah. I was like, all right, cool.
The fact they had to clarify that.
That's why I was asking specific shit like that. So I was actually, because they wanted me to bring our white RX-7. I'm like, no fucking sir. Because I knew this was going to happen, right? So they wanted me to bring the white RX-7. I'm like, nope. And then that's why I bought the RX-8 that I've been tracking. That's why I bought that. Yeah. But I looked at it and said, no, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm keeping it. Right. And then I wouldn't be damned to bring the wide body RX-8. I'm like, nope, not happening. Then I did not want to bring the convertible, but this was an option. Right. But I was trying to buy a car. I wanted to get like a Celica, like an 88 or a 90 Celica. I wanted to get just something small, something I knew that I can maneuver through stuff. I leave it stock height, stock suspension, put a bash bar reinforcement, take the bumper, the actual bumper support out and build a bash bar. I was going to do that front and back, like some real strong shit, and then that be it. That was my original plan, but man, shit started falling through and everything, and then they called me talking about your transport truck is going to be here on Tuesday. I'm like, oh, God. I was like, okay, I got to send the vert.
Hey, what happened? So what happened, Brian? Because that was what happened? You seemed like something happened on yours.
My car, because, and this is probably, I mean, logistics is always going to be a pain in the balls. Yeah. My car was ready to go down to where the show was at 8 hours before transport showed up. Because we had to get the cage in, and like the cage took, and like they had to make the cage, we had to get it in, and I'm like trying to figure out, because I'm in New York, so like pandemic was absolutely messing shit up. Right. So I was just like, bro, can't you guys get this like a week before I need to be down there? Why do you need the car a month early? Like, I'm not coming down for a while. Why you need it early? But like, I get they wanted to get it all done, but yeah, I just thinking about transport, I was just like, that was such a pain. Yeah. I was so mad. Because I wanted, so like before the show, I didn't get a chance to drive by a car on the street for more than 6 minutes before it was on the trailer. So like we put the cage in, got the new tune set up on it. I got the coilover set, the camber adjustments that I needed to have to it that I felt would be okay. We got the new harness, and then it was on the car. So I'm like, damn, I don't even get a chance to like
enjoy this shit.
I didn't even get third gear. Like I was just like, it worked, cool. So like, yeah, it's I was. Damn,
and that's why I was so mad that my car got there and somehow had no brakes. Yeah, because I said I've had that time. I've been driving this car for years.
And then the transporter would have said something about it. The transporter guy, exactly. Yeah, he would have been like, dude, I'm not loading this.
And I personally prepped it. I sent it to a shop, had my homeboy go over it, redo all of my seats and cage shit. Then my other boy came, and because my rear brake calipers, they didn't work on the handbrake. We literally got the handbrake working like, I don't know, a couple days before. New calipers, everything was bled. That motherfucking car was rock solid. And then I took it to an event and I skid it, and I was like, this car works? Send it, right? It's clean bill of health, stamped, approved, let's go. Told the dude how to get it on the trailer because I had the fuel cut off on it and all the other shit. He's like, all right, cool. So when I get there, it didn't have any brakes. First things first, look under the car. Is there a spot? It's been sitting here in the garage because Ian took a picture of the car when it got there and he sent it to me. So I said, there's no spot there on the ground. There's nothing inside my barrels which showed oil or brakes, dripping or seeping going down there inside the barrel. The bleeder nut was tight. There was no leak marks, so nothing on the calipers. Everything. I was like, what? I said, okay, so did they stick something in there and suck it all out? I'm like, I'm just going over everything like this is bullshit. I even left with a full tank of Cali gas. I know for a fact that gas is, you know what I'm saying? Because I've had my cars be weird off of different fuel. I'm like, nah, this car is ready to go. I was so pissed when that happened, man. But then it was just like,
so did you have you spoken to anybody in production about, like, I mean, not trying to offend them, like, hey man, like, I know my car, the guy who transported it would have definitely said something like, hey man, this car ain't got no brakes when he delivered it,
because it was on the slope.
Right.
You gotta come down the slope.
Yeah, so that's no, so
that. But the thing is though, when I said, yo, what the fuck happened to my brakes? And the first thing that they didn't answer me. First thing they did is they ran up with a mic pack and started micing me and putting cameras all in my face. While I'm trying to ask you what the fuck is wrong with my safety equipment. I said, oh, this shit is for the show.
Yeah. So it seemed like somebody. It seemed like because nobody. I mean, I don't know if I haven't heard from anybody else, Brian yourself included, that anybody had tampered or anything like that. And the cars were definitely with them, like Brian, you said, for a month before you get down there. So they can do pretty much anything to your shit. So it's like, it seemed like they, you guys are the first group or whatever. They was like, yeah, let's try this and this. And then somebody.
What I found was particular was because my car and Sonia's car was side by side. When she got in her car in this garage, there is no camera crew. She got in her car, backed up, and left. I popped my hood because I know that they didn't disconnect my battery. I know it's going to be dead, and I brought my jumper pack. As soon as I popped my hood, in ran cameras. Like, the fuck? So I'm like, whatever. I'm put my jumps on and whatever, and I start the car, and the cameras are just there. Cameras on me. I'm like, okay. So I backed the car up, and I'm just giving it a little bit of, because I'm trying to warm it up. So as I'm backing it up, I always back it up real light on the clutch, no matter how I'm revving it. When I go to put my foot on the brake and my pedal went, I'm like, oh, shit. I almost ran into Jackie Ding's car. Jackie Ding's car is right behind me. So I'm like, yo. So I hit the pedal again. That second pedal, you already know, air in the system. That first one was fucked. That second one was even more fucked. So I'm like, oh, I don't have any brakes, dog. And camera's still, So
camera's always rolling.
Hey, but I'm like, why wasn't there a camera in here when Sonia was pulling out? Why is there only a camera in here now when I'm by myself? So I was just like, oh, okay, this is weird. So that's why when all of this shit happened, and I'm saying to myself, man, why am I gonna be mad at this shit? Fuck this shit. I'm like, I ain't about to be mad. Check your. I said to myself. Matter of fact, that's what I said to myself, man. Check your attitude. Because I was literally like mad as fuck, dog. I was like, all right, check your attitude.
As we said,
right. And then that's when I just started to get lighthearted about everything. Like, man, I don't give a fuck. It is what it is, But it was something out of my comfort zone, and they were like, "Oh," the justification that they tried to say about the impact of my car had. Well, you drift, right? You do motorsports. You're used to. Motherfucker, do you know I have never crashed ever in my life on the track? Be like, I ain't used to nothing. I don't touch shit. That's the whole point of precision driving. Precision driving. Like, dude, Brian, how many times have you gone to a track, never seen the track before, looked at the surface, looked at the weather? I'm gonna act like this today.
Yeah.
You operate as your experience and visual assessment took you. I do that all the time. Me and my boys, we go to a track. I always chill and let everybody else sweep the track with the, warm the track up, skid it, whatever. My boy's like, you ready to roll? I'm like, yeah. I said, how's the gravel? How's the surface feel? Oh yeah, we got some grips over here and this and that. I said, all right, cool. Of my assessment of knowing the elements, knowing how my car is gonna operate every time. I know how it operates on cold tires, scrubbed in tires, ball tires. I know how this shit's gonna move. It's always consistent. So you don't need no prep time. If I'm focused on getting active, I'm getting active right then and there. So when it's like, fuck, I'm second guessing, I don't have brakes. I've never.
It's one of the worst feelings ever.
It's like, oh man. Okay, now it's high risk. Before, when I'm on the track, that's very low risk. No matter how extreme or how fast everything looks, it's low because I know how to do this and that. Let me go 7/10. We're cool. Going into this compound with no visual experience, I don't rally, I don't do nothing.
Sight laps, nothing.
Nothing. Just like go. It's like, okay, I want to make it exciting here, but I want to taper here. I want to do this here, but then just going and saying, dude, if I do all of this and I still have no brakes, I have to worry about slowing that car down. So me pushing the clutch in, letting the RPMs drop, and getting that RPM. When you slightly slide the clutch out, you get that. The back torque. I was like, that's how I was slowing down and shit. And this is like, damn, dog, I gotta do all this shit like this. But in my head, I said, no, we got this. It's gonna be cool. And then when Blood came around and slammed my shit, and then how he hit, it broke his control arm and everything, and it pulled the axle. He was still on the throttle trying to push me into the K rail. Damn. So he was trying to slam me into the shit, and I was like. And like, oh, you could have kept going. I'm like, Wyatt, bruh, you're standing. You got to slide by a K-rail. I say, you don't think he wasn't just trying to push me into that? And he, I'm like, bruh, y'all ain't about to fuck my car up. You did that. That's cool. You got it. I was like, I'll fix it. Michelle's like, you think you can fix it? I'm like, yeah.
Hey, man, I know, Brian, you follow because it's kind of like, we follow the like F1 and stuff like that, man. And then like the last, I didn't really see what happened with the and this is like all over, man. With the last thing with goddamn what was it? And when they something with a safety car and in Hamilton, kind of somebody. Did you see that race or whatever, man? What happened with that stuff? And like, I guess
the last race.
Yeah. I think when everybody.
You mean the one where that didn't happen, where it rained out, or the one where he had to start the race all by himself?
The one where I guess I've been on a loop a little bit. I guess there was some controversy where he ran into somebody, or somebody did something, or.
Oh, yeah, that was at Silverstone. First lap of Silverstone, him and Verstappen had contact.
The rear bull
going into
racing incident.
That racing incident shit. That was a fantastic waste of media time.
Because when I get there with that, man, it's like, stuff like that. This is like everything motorsports, even if it's like off circuit stuff, is like what happened was like the rule, like you say, Lex, you mentioned the rules. Whatever happened with the helms and stuff, was rules set where Hamilton maybe he knew more. And the thing is, if you know the rule books inside out, and that's what you both were like asking, hey man, what can I do? What can't I do? I'm gonna remember this. And I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to play the game. And and it seemed like the Hamilton got a bunch of stuff because I guess he could have went faster. Or, I don't know.
No.
So can you explain?
No. Here's what's going on. We're doing this from an objective basis.
Right.
You have two racers.
I've seen all the videos. I've seen videos from there.
Yeah. Now, and one of the things is because there was a lot of people who had some
deep
with my opinion with how I felt about it, because I can like Lewis Hamilton and still be a critic of shit.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
And what people don't understand is, even if you do it in a video game, driving single-seaters is crazy. It is insane. Your visibility is so low. However, when you have one of the main differences, and people don't get to see this very often because of over the last year or so, Hamilton, and I wouldn't say he's been unchallenged. He's just been able to straight up destroy people easily. People forget how disgustingly crazy he is in defense and how incredible he can be in offense. He forced Verstappen into a mistake. If you're the championship leader and you know you have your nearest title rival next to you, because he checked, let's look. He knows he's there. He's been all over his gearbox for 5 corners. And you're coming into one of the craziest corners ever, leading the championship with a significant advantage. Are you going to risk it on the outside knowing there's even a 20% chance there's a car on your inside? Hell no. And Verstappen is very, very used. And I'm going to say used is because I'm projecting here. He might not feel this way. Right. But like when Verstappen attacks people, most of the other drivers have found a way to get themselves out of danger. Because you know because when you race with people long enough, you kind of pick up their tendencies.
Yeah. That
was one of the very first moments that people got to see on a big scale where someone didn't give him his way. Because Hamilton has no reason not to assume that he shouldn't take this inside corner, and he's been on this path. He's been going through this. It's not like, he's up here and I'm just going to try to shoot up. Oh, wait, no, it looks still on camera. Not like he's up here and I'm just going to try to shoot up on you on the inside. You guys are more or less, at one point were literally side by side. It was a giant game of chicken. But the only loser is the person that's going to be on the outside because you're in the dangerous position. So the smart move, and almost every person who is relatively credible when it comes to Formula One racing, including the other drivers of that year, were just like, you're going to give that person space on the outside to preserve your race, because you can lose a race in the first corner. You can't win a race in the first corner, but you can certainly lose it. And that's what Verstappen did. He lost his race right there. If I was this team boss, I'm furious. Bro, go wide. Use the exit. Go over the curbs. Lose the position. Let the stewards handle it. Let us fight for you. But you want to be dumb and try to turn in knowing that there's even a chance someone's there? Stupid. It was absolutely stupid.
And the thing is, with that, people are really and it's crazy, man. Because I know, you after you posted the show stuff, we can kind of get into it later. I don't know if somebody said something to you or you made a post pretty much putting people in their place, man. And it's people out there who don't race questioning Hamilton's IQ. I'm like, bro, come on, dude. Come on,
see, here's the other thing, right? Here's the other thing. Now, I don't know if you know, Donnie, but Brian does sim racing as well, right?
Well, I didn't know that.
So, right. I
thought that was a mic.
But so we do a lot of sim racing. So my boy, when we're doing a lot of our racing, I do it to him all the time because I drive with him so much on sims. I know how he's going to take corners. I know he backs off, goes real lackadaisical in braking zones, and then coast in on corners. And if me on the aggression, if I'm a car behind him, I'm pushing that shit to the nuts in the braking zone, get right in there on him, and then I want to dip in and try to get to that apex before he collides over to the apex. And oh my God, it's always so much fun hearing them yell at me. Nigga, you're taking that shit. You know you wouldn't do that shit in real life. Motherfucker, cars. So because that's a real thing. You're gonna risk. You're risking both of the cars. Right. For me, this is sim. I drive it as real as possible, but for those things, I'm very aggressive. Now, hi, baby. Now, in real life, when I'm running in my class and I run down on somebody in braking zone, sometimes I take the risk and say, you know what, let me see if he sees me. And I try to put that nose right in on him on the deep of the braking zone. Sometimes I say, no, this ain't worth it because I'm faster right here on this portion of the track. I'm going to let him get there. I'm going to run up on this shit, and then I'm going to go around him in this corner. Certain times it's a risk. Certain times it's a calculated move. Certain times you just say, nah, I'm going to let him have that, and then we're going to go again. Because if it's in the opening of a race and he sees Lewis there, you're just like, you know what, little asshole? We got a lot more racing to do. I got you. You get that, and I'm about to run. I'm gonna use your draft. You gonna tow me around for a couple of laps, and I'm gonna beat your ass on the backside of this race. We gonna get away from everybody, so it's gonna be you and me, and let's get it shaken. And that's what happened. He didn't give it up. He wanted to be too aggressive. And then you seen all of the compilation of everybody saying, no, he does this to people all the time. And then they showed a full compilation of all his over aggressiveness. And it's like, oh, but you cry like a bitch when it happens to you. Like, get the fuck out of here with that.
Yeah.
So, I liked it. I just watched all of those arguments, and I was like, oh, everybody's hilarious.
And there's another thing about this, and I think because I think for some people they might get a little bit caught up in the spectacle of the racing itself. Hamilton and there's two drivers that have actually done this very, very well. Hamilton and Alonso are very, very good at this. They will work you into mistakes where they can't be held at fault. They will do that. Like, so, for example, there's the race they had. They were in, I think it was Bahrain. There was an incident, well, not an incident, but Max and Hamilton were going at it, and Hamilton's in the lead. He's slower. His car is not in the right position or at the right health for it. But he's taking the apex. He's taking his braking points and his cornering spots at just the right level where Max cannot make a clean pass.
Right.
He went for the pass, but he went off the barriers, and he has to give the position back. And if you watched another good example, Alonso and Hamilton's battle at the Hungaroring, Hamilton had to work Alonso, who is a crazy magician, for over 5+ laps to make him finally lock up and then take that position, because that's what these type of drivers do. They will study, they will work you, and they're not going to risk their shit. They're going to make you make the mistake. For a good example, that was like one of my ethos for trying to do shit with the show. Is I'm going to try to do shit where you guys make a mistake. You're going to hit the barrier. You're going to brake too late and go into the dirt field. I'm going to make you make a mistake. And as far as I look at it, me getting hit the way how it happened, that's because homeboy missed up their braking shit. If they were trying to turn and miss that shit, if I had stopped, he would have hit that pole.
Yeah.
Like that's your bet. It's just, but it is what it is. But when we're talking with, like, when it comes to stuff with the F1 level, like, especially when you talk about Verstappen's past antics and stuff like that, there's been so many times where the older drivers, Vettel, Raikkonen, and other people, have moved. They've made an adjustment to a company that this little asshole is about to just be ridiculous. And now Verstappen's gonna be a great driver. But to act like he doesn't do stupid shit and gets away with it because he's the challenger,
he's young,
sure.
Yeah.
He's young. He's the challenger. It doesn't matter. I mean, I understand why Ricciardo left Red Bull. I wouldn't want to be his partner either, especially when you have like the treatment like that. But yeah, Hamilton is on a different spectrum when it comes to battling on track. I can't wait for the new season when there's less downforce. Like, people think it's going to be, it's even going to be even more on the driver. You guys have no idea how dominant this guy can be.
Yeah, because
he's crazy.
With that real quick, like they're all. People don't realize there's a limited number of seats to get out there. So like it's already on minute drive. Like, you can't enter the event and pay your. Like, it doesn't work that way. You scout it. You come up from the.
It's not grassroots.
It's not like that. So like so like those guys, they're all elite. So even a worst driver, they're all elite, right? But like you said, he sets up 5 laps. It's kind of like a boxer. They set up the thing for 3-4 rounds, and then he keeps slipping the jab or keep throwing this combo, and the guy gets used to it. He knows Floyd Mayweather. He does it to people all the time. He sets you up. He sets you up, and then he capitalizes on that. He's like programming you during your guys' match or while you're driving. He's constantly coming up there trying to get on the outside, try the outside, then he takes the inside. So like you said, man, it's the elites, and then it's the elites within the elites. And it's like, man, and then again, because we're all black guys. I know Hamilton is mixed, and then people keep bringing it up, man. And it's like they seem like every little fucking thing he does, his braids, his hairline getting fixed, his jewelry. It's like that's what those colors do. Like, those comments are wild.
Yeah, bro. That's what we do.
The comments is wild. In the comments, you could see people. You see Willie T getting on there like, dude, you guys are wilding out, man. And like, you know, Willie,
like,
it was crazy, man. Like that, the race is crazy, man.
It's this thing about being. It's about being so different and then more or less unrelatable to them in a way that it's just unfathomable. They're just like, I don't understand why you don't do any of the stuff we expect you to do. Like, why can't you just be
right?
Oh, you know what, motherfucker? Oh, so almost swore, my bad. This is a really good example. All right, you remember Peyton Manning, right?
Yeah.
You know, played quarterback, did a great shit. They could not have sweated his nuts. And granted, he did a great job. Obviously, you know, did some wild shit with the football. No disrespect to Peyton Manning. But on a media perspective, they couldn't have sweated his nuts for being the humble white dude.
Yeah.
More than I could
right.
ever believe. And anytime they talked to, like, well, even Vic or anybody else that was like,
Cam Newton.
Oh, man.
They couldn't stand flamboyant. They couldn't stand that he.
They couldn't.
He could say. Because he's producing, it's just, it's
gonna lose. No. What the? Well, I don't understand why he's not humble. He should be considerate of his opponents. They work hard too. Like, what the fuck do you want me to say?
Yeah.
So how's your experience when you're at the track? Because I pull up to the track in my little Ford Expedition with my trailer and tire rack and my car on there. I get guys look at me and be like, fucking Mazda, what the fuck? It's not a Miata, what the fuck? Why has he got that slow ass shit?
Right.
Then I unload it and I don't say too much of nothing. I let the car warm up, get all my stuff together. Cool. And I always leave to the grid last. Mostly because I'm just like, you know, getting my mental space together. Like, all right, woosah. And how our track days are when they're not the competitions, you got the fast group. And then in the fast group, you have fast pace and slow pace of the fast group. You have to hit a minimum lap time. And if you're just at that lap time, you go on the right side. If you're blazing past the lap time, you're on the left. So this is the fastest tier, right? And so I always pull out in the slow. I'd be like, I don't care. I'm just out here having fun.
Mm-hmm.
We go out. I've said nothing to nobody really. You guys will be pit next to me, the left or the right. Haven't said a word to me. We go out. I jam. Shit happens. They're like, holy fuck, that guy's quick. Then when I come back in, then it's, well, let me look and see how modified the car is, because it's got to be it. Then they say, God damn it, this car is stock.
Yeah.
Then they ask
you got a Bridgeport up in that thing or something.
No, but then they ask you, is this thing stock? Yes, sir.
When that right there, man. I know, Brian, you got that a bunch. When they ask you that question, that means the car is faster than it should be.
Yeah, that's what this dude with his GT3 Porsche he said, man, I kept looking in the mirror, and I run with my yellow lights on. I kept looking in the mirror, you were closer and closer, and I'm like, damn, this guy's moving. And it's like, oh yeah, but after that first session, that's the icebreaker. That's when it's like, okay, you didn't say nothing, you ain't out here blasting your rap music, you're actually a good driver. That's cool as hell. Hey, so how many years? I've been doing this for 20 years, man. That's why I like slow cars. I just enjoy making slow cars fast. Oh, man, wow, that's great. Oh, my goodness, what's your fastest lap time? I don't know, but if I can make it today, you know what I mean? It's just like, so like what your track experience has been, you come through with your car and you get to rip. Like, what's your experience has been?
So I think this has kind of been a testament to specifically like the motorsports or track community,
right?
Because after I did my thing with autocross, I think I might did 3 events, and I said I'm gonna go do a track day, like just like as a beginner.
Yeah,
let's go see. And I had an instructor, which is awesome. And that was probably the last time I ever did autocross. It's been interesting because obviously, I'm going to show up and I'm like, all right, cool. I live in New York and I live in upstate New York. So like, I already know I'm going to be the only one. I'm going to be the only one.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one. It's wherever I go, it's always the same.
Yeah.
So like, I have to say this, and like, the track people who are into the track stuff and they're like, oh, did you just spend like $300 to be here on like your day off and you want to come just race cars? You've got to be cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And there is a difference between the hardcore autocross people and like everybody else. Like once you get higher up in autocross, shit gets a little weird. But for the track guys, they've always been cool. And it's kind of similar. Like when in the morning, everyone's setting up and they're just like, well, especially when at first they're like, okay, it's a GTI.
Mm-hmm.
That's not old, so that's risky. But okay, cool. He's here. That's fun. And it's kind of and one of the like it's usually it's exactly what you say after the first maybe second session, and this always drives Cam. She laughs so hard. I will immediately have people over like, okay.
Yep.
So,
Same dude.
That's a Volkswagen.
That's crazy that we're in all different places and it happens the same dude.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, so I had a Volkswagen, I had a Mark 6. Why is yours so fast? I'm like, because this is the new one. It starts with 200, bro. They're like, money? It's the funniest shit. But everyone's always been cool. And I think one of the greatest things that at least I've learned is, especially when I was just getting started, no one made me feel like an ass for asking a question. It's like, oh, hey, do you have a tire pressure gauge? Oh, what? They're like, oh, bro, here, check this. You want to set it to da 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 da. All right, go out here and do this. And I always tell anyone who's never done a track day before, grab an instructor. If there's no instructors available, because I know out in Cali, you guys kind of just have like days where it's just like, hey, we're just going to show up and go around. Get a buddy who knows something and is willing to willing
to forego their session.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like, you know what? I'll fuck that session. I'll roll with
find somebody with a slow car who wants to teach you. And that's been so helpful, and it's one of the coolest things to be able to hey, you need XYZ wrench. Like I show up to every track day with my I have like a DeWalt T-Stack thing. I bring it everywhere. Just not because if I need it, because someone else may need it, and if I can help make sure their day continues to be awesome, great. Because people have helped me with my day. So showing up with my car, it's always been positive. People always have 1,000 questions because somebody somewhere has a GTI or something they thought about bringing to the track, and thankfully I've never had any static for being me at the track.
Right.
I've had some people their ego may or may not have been decimated, but I've also been destroyed by S2000s. I'll never forget the day I was in Montreal and a guy S2000.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to. Yeah, how is the Mont? Because you're right there. You can go up to Canada.
Bro,
so how is that?
Shit.
Really? Oh really?
Yes. All right. Bureaucracy, the event I just did, bro. Bureaucracy did everything. That is why I'm in Time Attack. Bureaucracy is the shit. It is the coolest. It is such a cool concept for a show. I've never seen replicated, maybe because I haven't traveled enough. But for people who don't know, Bureaucracy is a 2-day event that happens up in Montreal, Canada, every August. Usually it's after the weekend after the F1 race. And it's at a circuit called ICAR Complex. It's in an area called Mirabel, technically. But anyways, it's a massive European-based show for the cars. That's based at a racetrack. That's the racetrack's at an airport that's still functioning. So they have the whole.
What the hell? Some Forza Horizon shit.
They have a drag strip. They have a road course. And they have this massive car show. I mean, we're talking. So if I could pull up a track map, I would. But their main course.
I'll put it in there.
Okay, their main course is something like 4 to something miles, as far as length, and it curves in on itself and stuff like this. And for the show, they have people line their cars up all along the track, along the guardrails, in the intersections. I mean, you'll have everything from McLarens to Audis to Laudas to Volvo wagons that cars we've never seen before, and you'll have a nice scene damn, you put 40 grand into that shit, and then you have clapped out shit boxes, and it's all love. It's so freaking cool. And then
it's like grid life then without the con.
No.
Oh, okay.
Here's what I gotta explain. So that's the car show section, right? And they have a top 100 where all your top 100 show cars are at, right?
Right.
Everything. And they'll let other cars. You can bring them BRZ, do whatever it is. They don't really give a shit. They're Canadians. They're hella chill. But the cool part is everything's kind of flow. So if you want to take your car to the drag strip, you could just go to drag strip and say, hey, here's my ticket. I'm going to go run. And they run the drag strip. And then the circuit, they open up their small layout. Like, it's a really modified smaller layout. So it's only like, I think it's like 3/4 of a mile of like a little loop. For like $50 US, at least it was the year before, you could go run that track all day. Like your car. Cool. And you wear a helmet, but like, we're not prepping your car. This is not a track day. We're not putting timers. Like, someone could be like, hey, I've never been on a racetrack. I'm just going to go with my buddies, or we're going to just go out there. Canada's wild with that shit.
Oh, that's cool as shit.
It's so cool. So the very first year we went, which is 4 years ago, my buddy Louis Andre invited me to come up because I was still getting some track day stuff and I was having fun. And I was like, ooh, okay. I get to go to a track and like, it's cheap. I can afford this. I think I spent an hour looking at the show and spent the next 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, just
because that's what means. That's what means more. Yeah, man. That's
I was like, you said $50 go all day to get gas? Fuck, I'm out here, bro. I was giving people rides. I took Kiana's car out there, and that's how I met the guys who do the Canadian Sports Compact Series, because I was running along people who had numbers on their cars. And they came and found me. They're like, "Oh, yeah, okay, hold on. See the some shit in French." And I'm like, "Oh, my bad, yo." In Canadian, first off, first thing about Canadian food, everything in Canada, as long as you're in the right area, tastes better, because I swear on everything, they must not have to add whatever chemicals we got to add to our shit.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. Like, their McDonald's be hitting in ways that don't make sense. They have patties, there's juice. Tim Hortons is a spiritual experience, because I
ate when I was up there.
You don't need to add sugar to coffee. You just buy the coffee and drink it. You don't need to do shit else. But it was so fun.
How far is your upstate New York from? How far is your travel to Canada?
So if I want to go to Toronto, 3.5 hours. If I want to go to Montreal,
close, man.
Yeah, but I'm right in Syracuse, so like to get to Buffalo is 2.5.
Yeah,
and the border is
pretty much, because it's like guys who are listening, man. Like, it's like upstate New York, and then all of like New Hampshire, like all the states above New York. It's like they don't really matter. Like, it's like it's like Maine. Connecticut,
Maine, Vermont,
they got, it's like that's.
You got jails. In Canada,
it's like everybody's like there's New York, there's where Vince McMahon lives, and then there's Canada. It's like it's pretty much like, yeah.
But you know what's cool though? You got two popping Canadian cities. You got Montreal and Toronto.
I'm right in the middle.
Yeah, that's See, we got Vancouver.
Yo. Well, I don't really know. Yeah, Vancouver's so far out. Yeah, I don't know much about Vancouver. I heard it's kind of cool, but I don't really know too much about it. But like, that show is the shit, dude. It's so it's a different experience for me, because everyone there is strictly there to have a good time.
Yeah, that's what makes events. When we first started to do Winter Jam, it was like, yo. For what Winter Jam was invites at first. Hey, ask this guy if he wants to come. This guy. Then it got to the point where it got so popular, because it was the biggest drift event in the nation, that everybody was just like, "Oh, we're coming," and so people would come, and I, for the position I have at Sonoma Drift, I'm around the whole night from roll in till the time everybody goes to bed, and I'm looking at everybody, and I'm like, "Oh, these niggas is clicked up over here. Oh, they clicked up over here. Oh, okay, they ain't mingling. Okay, wait till the drivers meeting in the morning. When driver meeting come up, hey yo, y'all from here, y'all from there, y'all niggas quit being weird. You might have just met your best friend at this event. Mingle with everybody. Everybody kick it. Don't do that dumb shit. We here because we want to rage, and you can rage with your homies, like make 50 new friends here. You know what I mean? Because when everybody's there just to have a blast,
right? It lowers the
drive all day. Yeah. You just like, oh, this is hot.
Yeah, and that's what I was mentioning about, because I just came back, Brian, if you didn't see, I came back I did Atlanta at the Atlanta Motor Speed Park. I did the event there, and it was a drift event, first drift event there, and that track, that you got to get down there, man. That undulations, man. I'm talking about, like, you got to get down there and drive that track. You will love it, because it's time attack.
Road Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. It's Atlanta Motor
Atlanta
Speed.
Motor Speed
Atlanta
Park,
Motors AM.
Oh, yes.
So this track is, for guys who don't know, me and Lex covered it. It's specifically only time attack, and this was the first time he had an open public drift event there, which was invite only, register only. It was supposed to be 50 drivers, and they bumped it up to 72, so it was tight in there. And there was a car.
Yeah.
So it seemed like they took what you explained sound just like there, because they had the car show. They had all the car guards lined up as you kind of go into the track, but they cut that part of the entry off, and then we had to go this way. So the car show was going on. They had the little stage, and we were like drivers. So it was the drivers, and it was the fans who would just come there to see cars. We were just it was like two different events in one. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So the guys that was there to drift, and in the beginning, like you said, man, Lex, like you just mentioned, man, like with the social media, everybody there kind of knows everybody, but they don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, then I
don't like that. They be side.
I ran into Sebastian. I ran into
I don't know who that motherfucker is.
Yeah.
I don't know that motherfucker.
I ran into LZ.
Yo, Canadians don't have any time for that. They be like, "Who are you? Talk to me."
Yeah.
And that's cool, because I met Canadian guys, I met Australian guys, and it's like, yeah, man. And that's why I came back to. I'm like, man, is it like this all the time in the States? Because my first time doing an event in the States in like 14, 15 years. And in Japan, like, this little weird. Then they'll start talking. And I've never been to Europe. I've never been anywhere else to do events, man. And it's like that it's like that vibe where everybody knows this LZ over there, and everybody. It kind of like, dude, we here to drive, dude. Like, we're here to have a good time, kill it, lower the testosterone a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's kind of, but yeah, like you said.
But if everybody kind of like blends in their. Like, kind of looking at when these events do their thing, everybody wants to say that they're the best, they have the best vibe, this, that. If it's just just everybody come, like whoever, just come on.
Well, one of the craziest things about that show is they ask other people who are putting on shows to please come into the event. Yeah. They're like, come here to tell people about when your show is coming. I'm like, wait, the Berlin Classic guys are here. And then I'm like, these guys are
this network, because that's networking right there. Like, man. That's networking.
Yeah, that's what we do at Sonoma Drift. Yeah, we do that at Sonoma Drift. Guys that have other events everywhere, it's like, come on up, and and they hang and they roll with us. When we're judging team tandem comps on track, we have them come up, be judges for. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a good mesh and mingle. It's a very good network, and I really find, because I mix along in drift, grip, some rally, and this motorcycle shit. It's like when you're just there to have fun, like everybody that's driving, because we know how much work we put in our cars, prep and all. We're putting forth max effort, but we're there to have fun, really enjoy the work we put into it. And man, when you ain't taking yourself so serious, and you got like, I don't know, 70 other guys that are there that are taking themselves serious, then the environment's cool. Like you explain in an active airport, nigga, airplanes is flying in. That would be, this is cool.
I gotta find the video. I probably don't have it anymore. All right, so look, so this is the wild shit that happens there, because first off, it's an active airport, which is just never happening in the US.
That's cool as hell.
And it's a commercial airport. So 2 years ago, everything stopped for like a half hour. Like everyone stopped doing their shit, and everyone was like going to the south side. I'm like, so I asked my friend Sebastian, who was there, he's like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I don't remember the name of it, but it was, I swear into everything, the biggest airplane I've ever seen in my life. And I've been inside like a C-17 or a C-5. This thing is apparently, I gotta find the name of it. I probably wrote it down somewhere, but it's this really big transport plane that is like, there's like one of
Russian? Was it Russian?
It wasn't. Ooh, no, it wasn't Russian. It had American writing on the side of it, but he started takeoff like on the curve.
Oh yeah, to build speed. Yeah,
like they cleared everything. Everything was grounded. People came out of the airport. They're like everything shut down. And this thing had like 6 engines on each wing. Like it was.
Okay, no, that was Russian. The AN-124.
I'm about to look that shit up right now.
Man, I know you're an airplane guy too, man.
Oh, I'm a plane fiend.
Oh, yeah.
I love planes.
Oh, dude, I am a fucking fiend, dog.
Yeah.
Hey,
no, wait,
but yeah, go ahead.
You might be right.
I know I am.
Yeah, so you mentioned you just mentioned C5, C17, Brian. Are you military? You been around military installations before, or?
Yeah, I've been around stuff. I'm not like involved with it, but like I know the whole NATO alphabet. My dad was a ham radio operator, extra class,
okay.
Going out there.
That's where I got my love of planes. My dad was Air Force mechanic, so I got to go out there. Matter of fact, I live near the air base that my father worked at. So yeah,
like it's
Doug, yeah. Did you got to see that?
Tomcat?
Oh yeah. I'm a Top Gun. I'm a fool for Top Gun. I probably didn't watch that.
So
movie
Brian, real quick, I worked on the. I was in Air Force, but everybody in Air Force doesn't fly airplanes. That's one people think. So they support the mission. So I was a vehicle operator. I drove all the vehicles. I was like a pro driver, tractor trailers, everything with wheels, right? So when I got out, I did contracting for a year. Doing aircraft. It was like they call it like a controller. And pretty much aircrafts would fly in C-17s, blah, blah, blah. We get the information, how much cargo you got, how much fuel you have, all that stuff. And that's what I did for the first year. The last 2 years, I actually worked with F-16s, F-16, F-15s. And so I was around. So, but the thing, I was jaded, man. I'm around them all the time. We were pretty much putting GPS pods up on them. And then I'm like F-15s and all this stuff, man. And I'm like just walking around them, engines running. You actually go under the engine while it's running. You got to walk under the engine to get to the other side of the plane, and you just got to put your hand up to make sure you're out of the jet blast. Because if you stand up too soon, you're going that way.
Yo, check this out. Couple years ago, you say you're going that way.
Yeah.
Couple years ago, right? So me and my boy, I'm so weird with airplanes. If I see one, I didn't know you
were in planes, man. Oh my God, I got planes flying right now. You probably can hear them.
I know. That's why I always ask you what. That's why I always ask you what's taking off.
Right now, taking off is a couple 35s.
Yeah. So look. So this was a very unique one. This one, my dad was like, "The fuck," because I spotted it. I'm looking at it, and I said, "Yo, we don't have any B-1s flying. This white, it's got to be a Russian Tu-160." So then I called my dad. I said, "Yo, there were fucking Russian planes flying over Frisco," and he said, "Bullshit." I said, "I swear on everything." So I pulled up the flight paths, and you saw two unidentified. I pulled up some other shit, Googling, and then it said, 2 planes. I saw one. I didn't see two, but apparently, because Russia's not that far from Alaska. They go cut the coast, fly down. Well, one of them wanted to be a dickhead and fly around, fly through, fly straight up, go over Frisco, duck down behind the Golden Gate, like real low on the deck, and take a trip up north, and he bounced out. But I happened to see it, and my dad was like, "Damn." When we looked all the shit up, and he's calling his buddies that's still serving, they were like, "Oh yeah, that happened." And when they checked flight path, they were like, "Oh yeah, we did have some to go up and escort some guys out." And he's like, "How the fuck you see that?" I was like, "I don't know, looking, dog." And then I recognize small things, and then I just roll in my little database like, "Oh, that was this." And then it's
God damn it, that's great, man. We doing all this podcast, so we never really talk about airplanes, man.
I'm a plane.
I just found it. I just found the exact way. It wasn't the 19. It's the 225.
Yeah,
the successor for it.
Yeah.
The nose. Once I saw the picture, I'm like, "That's the nose." But I remember that thing had like multiple engines, bro. That's crazy. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah, it's so big. They gotta duck the front. They got the nose goes up. They also duck the front landing gear so it'll go down, so you can drive stuff straight up in it. It's a humongous plane. That's foolish.
Then on that you guys in the planes, man.
That in person.
It was about maybe I think about now about 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Did you guys see when that one plane took off and it crashed?
And just like
I was on that plane, man. Like I worked that plane about
okay.
You went to smithereens. You were not on that
shit went boom.
Hey, yo, your face was funny. Hey, Brian, face was...
Yeah, I was like, hell no. Yeah. You worked on that joint? Yeah, I was about to say that's cat, cuz that plane got neutralized.
That was one of the video guy didn't even know how to pan. He was just like, bro, what the fuck did I just see?
Because when planes, when they lose lift and just fall off on one wing,
you know what happened with that?
It just
what happened with that? What happened with that was they had MRAPs and they were going to Afghanistan of all places.
It was overloaded. It was overloaded improperly.
They weren't.
It was I think it was front to back was bad.
They loaded it like you load the trucks or trailers. You put the trucks have engines. The cars are parked front and back because if all engines are parked this way, it's more weight this way. So they were loaded incorrectly, and also they weren't tied down. So
one got loose.
One got loose and then made everything else loose. So
everything else knocked.
All the shit.
All the weight went like this.
Yeah, it went like this. And what I was saying though, I worked that plane. I wasn't on it. I worked that actual aircraft. I worked that aircraft. It came to Japan. It was Omni flight, and it was like I don't know what kind of plane it was. It was like a 740 whatever, or one of the sevens, and big, huge planes.
It was a big ass boy. That's what.
So it's pretty much there's no seats in it, and it's just like nothing but lockdown range. You put the pallet up in there, and they slide back. So we do all the 463 pallets. That's what I did. My
father brought me on one of those. I don't think he was supposed to have me. I think I was like 3. He was not supposed to have me there.
You could slip. You could slip everywhere. There's rollers.
I did, and that's what made me terrified of C5s.
Oh yeah, the rollers.
Because we walked in there, the whole floor,
rollers,
the entire football field size floor, and I'm 3. I couldn't walk it. I was doing boom, boom, boom. Every time I tried to get up, I was busting my shit, and I'm looking like, what the fuck is this? Pops is trying to, hold me up, but he's like, yeah, it's because we load and slide shit and, get everything in front and then strap them down. And then I was like, oh, okay. Well, I like how it looks. I never want to be inside one, But, that's cool that you got to do an event to see that shit because it's crazy to see something that big fly.
Crazy. Yeah. It was the most, and I've gone to air shows. I've seen F-18s do wild shit and shit. But just seeing when you see that shit take off, you're like, wow, humans are crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy, and I guess that's why
why you want to fly something that fucking big?
Yeah. How you do the math of that and say, yeah, it'll fly?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what about helicopters, man? Because helicopters, people say they're not really supposed to even work, and they work somehow.
I was just watching a documentary of helicopter advancements where guys were putting the ROR, the rocket operated rotors, where they were trying to get more lift out of helicopters. This was the advancement that helicopters were going. They put a little pod of fuel on there that when they turned it on, the swinging rotation of the rotors pulled the fuel to the rockets, which powered them. And so they were just trying to make people, they were trying to get helicopter lift off hella quick, like being in the middle, they land in the jungle, load a couple people on, and they get shot at. Well, hit that rocket assist and get up out of there. So yeah, helicopters
go to the moon.
Insane. Yeah, and it also helps because helicopters have a thing like if they fail, they have auto rotation. Because of the wind, the rotors are still going to rotate. So you may not have engine, and it may be coming down a little tough, but it's not just straight out the sky. Yeah. So that also helped with
that shit.
They were.
I don't know nothing about flying, man. I just know that I worked when I was at Andrews. Yeah, man.
My joystick and shit over here.
And when I was at Andrews, man, I watched the guy. They were like on regular ground. They were practicing. They would come down and they would they would nose up, and then they would pull all the way back, and then it would kind of lock, and then it would sit down. So if they don't have engines, they were doing it with the engine on, obviously, but they were doing they were coming down, and then they would pull the stick, I don't know, back or forward, all the way back until it pitches as far back as it can, and then it would it levels out, and then it comes down real slow. And I'm like, what the fuck? And the guy was like, yeah, we got to do that just in case the engine's cut off, and we can actually land it, because if you don't, it'll just come straight, slam down into the ground and everything. So it's crazy how the mechanics work. And again, I've been around the whole time. But my thing is I can't fly, so I was kind of not there was a stealth. There was a fucking stealth at my hangar, and I was
117.
Yeah, leaking and everything. There was a stealth
leaking and everything.
Because they leak when they just sit still.
Yeah.
And that's weird. And that's weird how they tighten up when they fly. And they had drip pans all around the plane. And they had also, the stuff was there. We couldn't go in the hangar because it was,
Classified.
You can't be around it. So I'm opening the doors. I'm like, dude, that's a fuck. I remember that Nintendo game I never could play. They had the stealth on front of it, and I'm like, dude, that's the airplane right there. And it's like not an air show. It's like, it was crazy to see that, man. But I was like, well, I can't fly it, so I don't really care about it.
The coolest thing.
Ace Combat for your video game system, and just get out there and just start flashing around. Ace Combat.
I got the everything. That's all I use to play Ace Combat.
Bro, you got a PS4? I forgot, bro. You played the Star Wars game Squadrons?
I won't let my kid play it. I'm so hard. I'm ride for any of Gran Turismo, Assetto Corsa, Project Cars, whatever, and then I'm Ace Combat. And those are like the only games I play. I have everything, but that's the only ones I touch. But you know what? So I didn't see Antonov 225. You saw the biggest boy of them all. Because I said 124 because that's typically the one. But yeah, the 225 there is only a couple of them. But the coolest thing I ever saw at Willow Springs is the last space shuttle re-entry. Now, it was weird as hell because we're out there. I had my wife out there and my son. He was a little boy. So we're all chilling and we were sitting out for a session. And I saw something shimmer in the sky and it went across and you heard a boom, boom, boom. And I was like, ooh, what the fuck? That was sonic booms. So I was like, very interesting, but whatever. And then you see the same shimmer thing come back across. And then it went back and it was just zigzagging back and forth. And it was getting lower and lower and lower. But it did it so many times, you could tell it was super high because you could see it and it was shimmering. You couldn't make out what it was, but it went across the horizon, back across. And then when it got lower, then it wasn't shimmering and you could just see white. Now, I didn't think anything of it. I just said that was a white plane. I didn't take it that the thing that I saw that kept going back and forth was that same thing. Because of Willow Springs, we see a lot. We see B-2s fly around. We see F-117s fly around. We see a lot of shit. We see Cessnas get stuck in the sky because it's extremely windy there.
Oh, yeah.
Wind, they can't go anywhere. They're sitting there overrunning the engine. And you're just like, this fool is just sitting above us for like 10 minutes because he can't go nowhere until they give up and try to change direction. So you see all kind of plane activity. So I didn't think what I saw was anything special. They came over the radio and said, hey, guys, the space shuttle's going to be coming. And I'm like, no, it already came. And they're like, wait, what? And I was like, I heard the sonic booms. And I was like, if that's what I saw, it already landed. So I guess somebody got on and they checked and they called because in that area, it's an Air Force town, or not Air Force, but they got a base there. So somebody got on the horn. And they were like, yeah, it landed about 5 minutes ago. I was like, yep, I saw it about 5. They was like, how the fuck did you see that? I don't know. I'm like a T-Rex. My eyes catch something. Yeah. And like I told you, I started looking and I was focusing on it and I try to identify it. I couldn't identify it. I said, I don't know what it was.
Hey, Lex, so why was it going back and forth like that? The zigzag
coming down. Mad fucking high in the sky.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't. Yeah. So they don't. It's not. It wasn't actually zigzagging, looping, but it was so far away. It just looked like it was going back and forth until it got down close enough, probably 30,000 feet in the regular zone, and I can see it was a plane looking thing. But at first, it was just coming down. And he was coming down from hella far away. I was like, how the fuck did I see that? And my wife was laughing like, how do you see shit
so
like
they got that's the one that has the parachute on it, or is it the...
Yeah, it's a space shuttle, the white
got you.
Yeah.
But because their skin is like tiles,
right?
It does reflect the light. And because he was so fucking high, the sunlight was bouncing off the bottom of it.
Hey man, this is a good segue then, man. So what's your guys' thought on the whole SpaceX and everybody, like all the fucking Amazon dude and other guy?
Richard Branson did not go to space. He went really high.
So he went pretty much to where it turns to black, like in between, and then came back down.
74,000 feet, 80,000 feet. We got spy planes that fly that
Right.
high.
And they do the little, they do the weight list, they go up there and they get weightless for a second. And,
Because if you look at it, all he did was do a inverted loop. That's weightlessness the whole time.
right.
Yep.
Going that fucking fast.
So pretty much what he
doing
did
a
is just, he like went to the border in like Mexico and California.
He went to the border, cuz.
It's like,
He didn't go up in a spacesuit, so let's look.
So you guys, do you guys think that's going to be a real thing where they're going to have tickets to which you're probably going to be like,
oh yeah,
you know,
you can already do it. Well, you can already do the weightlifting, like Usain Bolt did that shit where they take you up high enough where you can get weightless.
Yeah,
but I think eventually,
and shit and dive down.
Yeah,
but
eventually,
but
they'll have.
What I'm getting at is I'm talking about actual like going
but
into
there's
space.
nowhere to go though.
Yeah,
where are we going?
It's a circle.
There's nowhere to go. I can go out
yeah.
there. You can fly. You can go. I forgot there's a situation in Russia or China where they use MiG-29s. You know, a MiG-29 fighter jet can go to space.
Oh shit!
Those motherfuckers. Yeah, that's why they were so dangerous. That's why when we had those motherfuckers go to space. They go up there, 74,000 something foot ceiling. They're in space. They've Russian planes are out of control. The MiG-25 and the MiG-31.
Well, how do they? I mean,
baby.
They could pretty much break the barrier to get into space. How do they? They can't survive there because the engines can't run with no oxygen.
They can survive there. They got rockets. Those engines are huge. They are rockets, bro.
I gotta get on YouTube. I gotta get on YouTube tonight, man.
Yeah, you gotta get on YouTube for it. Like you can get really close. One of the biggest differences when it comes to space. Like if you want to break that gravity and get out like where the International Space Station is.
That's a lot.
You need some shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You need some you need a fucking rocket, like an actual some shit that's
dedicated power to.
Like what they did with SpaceX and shit. Like, first of all, I think it's amazing that we have the access now where we're like watching live streams inside control centers, and they're like, there's like education people who are just like, so who's watching this and would like to learn about the trajectory of something, because they want like kids to come and do that shit.
Right.
And then you go outside and it looks like a Hadouken in the sky, and you're like, oh, there it goes. I just watched it launch.
Bro, like that shit is crazy. Like, actually, but like I have I didn't build it, but Kiana has a Lego version of the International Space Station, which is like verbatim, like actually super dope. And it's just so cool that like we can just access that technology, and like, I mean, not that I can do much with it, but you can learn about it and like just be involved with it. Like I don't know if I'd be the person that was like, hey Brad, we're gonna be giving out space rides. We're gonna take you to the station.
That sounds like some shit in a strip club or something. Space ride.
Space ride.
Space ride, baby. Get your bracelet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do that shit because I'm a real big fan of being alive and not trying to risk my shit as much as necessary. Yeah. But I think it's cool. I think what they're doing with SpaceX and some of the other companies, like any of the effort and the resources they're putting towards it, I know I probably won't see the big fruit because it just takes.
I mean, while you mentioned that, I got me because I'm not a historian buff. I know stuff happened, but I was just googling my phone real quick. Which this thing right here is cool right here, guys. There's not only for porn. But I just looked up while he was talking. Like the first flight was on December 17th, 1903. I just did the math. That's only 118 years ago, man.
Oh, yeah. Now think about this.
That's only 118 years ago.
Think about this. That was only 118 years ago. Google how far you gotta go to Mars and how fast you gotta go to Mars.
Yeah, let me check that out, man. So how far?
Because this is gonna put shit into perspective for you. When I say we have nowhere to go, motherfuckers just want to go in space just to say they going into space. Look how fast you gotta go and how far you gotta go to get to Mars.
7 months and about 300 million miles.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mars is like, I think it took them. I think the probe took them like 8 months. Like I know the first one was closer to like a year because they couldn't do their travel shit right. But yeah, like 7 months or something like that, which is fucking long.
But I'm trying to figure out how fast you got to go. Well, I mean, fast is
hella.
Yeah, it's like hell.
Hella.
Yeah.
So the thing is like the real only place that you're gonna be able to go in our lifetimes is gonna be space station, right? Yep. So there's all these conspiracies about the moon, go to the moon. But that's going to be it for a moment, because propulsion is really a thing. We have to bring fuel with us to go somewhere until and get back, right? Like we're in rovers and robots, and you ain't thinking about bringing that whole back.
Right.
So you just sit in that bitch, go do your work, and then become space dust, out there, taking a human out there and then coming back. How much fuel? What are the resources that really is going to be needed?
I have a feeling, especially the way technology is going, and though we have so many smart people. I think before I hit 60, we'll send someone, or maybe let me backtrack that. We'll be able to send something to Mars and have it launch and come back.
Mm-hmm. Private sector billionaires is doing so much
what is Musk thing with the recycling of the coming back, and what is his thing? I know he's doing space stuff, but what is his goal? What is he trying to do?
Well, if you look at what they're doing, they're doing heavy lift tests, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing with Bezos. They're doing heavy lift tests, which is supplies or a group of people, a gang of people, right? Mm-hmm. And these rockets with the program go up and they get back. You see their propulsion once they get out there is compressed air, which makes them do their directional thing.
Right.
But
look like nitrous purging.
But still, you're still only going to outer crust.
Right.
And then you're coming back down, and then you refire. You're doing a free fall all the way down, and then you refire right before you hit the ground to straighten it up and land it. So still, there's not enough fuel for propulsion, but we're going to get there. It's going to be heavy because think of there's a lot of planes. Yeah, go ahead.
Go, Brian.
I was going to say, like, one of the things they're talking about, like, especially with like the heavies, and sorry if someone who actually knows the correct term. I know there's the tight heavy, and then there's there's another one they're doing. I believe if we're going to take like the first building block is, all right, we know right now we have fuel. We're going to be using fuel. We haven't figured out how to do folds. We don't know how to use particle acceleration yet. So
that boy said folds. You didn't even know what he's talking about. That God damn it! That's that Area 51 shit though.
Which is already happening. We just don't know about it yet.
What was that old anime? Oh, what the fuck was it with the ship that turned into the
Robotech, my boy.
Robotech, yeah, bro.
Hey, I'm telling you, I
read all the
that's crazy, man.
Hey, little be told you did. If you didn't know, Riot Squad. The reason our cars are all white and we have a trim color blue, red, green, yellow is Robotech.
Get out of here, bro. That's some dope shit. I want to be like a Gundam Wing Squad, because I'd be heavy arms custom from those. That would be my just straight spraying hose. Anywho, sorry, that was so out of context.
But that was from the early '80s. What you're about to talk about is from the early '80s.
Exactly.
That was their thought process from the early '80s, folding space to you. Go there and then unfold and you're there. And
using like no energy and just using the properties of the universe. But so essentially what to answer your question with Musk is like, so look, if we can get this, because leaving Mars probably shouldn't be as hard because it's much less dense. It takes significant
to get off the surface,
But we need to be able to make sure that whatever leaves from here has the ability to leave without costing us $1 billion every time, and then have enough of the shielding and the size to withstand reentry with the payload, because we're not going to do shit unless we can make money off of it.
Right.
So we need to be able to send some shit, set up like the guys who were doing the they did those tests out in the desert where they have like the astronauts who are living in a capsule for like that movie with Matt
simulating the element.
That shit is actually that's one. The Martian's a crazy, scary movie, but it's also really, really accurate from a scientific standpoint, as best as you can go with extrapolating and with the science we have at the time. But their methods and everything is about using different fuels, or being able to, especially if you use stuff like methane and some other things.
Right.
If they can figure out how to harness that, and we can do it reliably, you can drop that payload and then have someone come back. That's going to be feasible. I absolutely think that's something we can do. And if once we can make that happen consecutively, then obviously that changes things. But they're close with it. And I really like, because I've seen, I don't understand all the science, right? I try, but my sisters.
We're not engineers.
Nah.
But
I'm not an engineer.
Hey, Brian, real quick.
And we know how it is. You do something one time, you be like, "Oh, that's what it takes to do it."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we know what it actually takes to do, okay, all right, make these adjustments, do this much fuel.
Yeah, they'll get it. They'll get it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They'll get it.
Hey, Brian, real quick, what was your major in college, man?
Oh, let's see. So I got my bachelor's in human development and communications, which is like so kind of like it's like a mix between sociology and psychology. Like I was kind of in that mix, and then I got my master's in organizational management. So kind of like a it's a not like a what's the one that most people get, MBA. So like the MBA is the Master's in Business Administration or Business Sales or something like that. So I kind of work. Mine's on the organizational structure, like how do we actually do the shit we say we're gonna do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what age did you when did you finish your master's? What age would you finish your master's?
Okay, so I'm 32. So wait, Key, am I 32?
Hey, I'm just like
hey,
that.
Man, hey, right there, that's real. You got a master's, you got a master's
shit.
degree and don't know how old he is. And like that's dude.
Yep.
No shit, bro.
I'm just
bro,
like
that's
that.
like I'll be like,
my
man,
wife, how old
dude,
am I again?
That happened to me last week. I was like, I think I'm like 38, and I'm like,
so
dude,
be like, yo, that shit is irrelevant.
After
23 years ago, 3 years ago, I was 28. I was 28.
After 21, you're like, yeah, dude, I'm alive, dude. That's cool.
It's whatever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's cool. That's like, and right there, man. What you guys talking about, man? Like the flight. All that stuff. Number one, while you talking about all that stuff, I'm like, damn, we going to space and dudes in public schools still ain't got books yet. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So it tells you where the priorities are, and then like, you know what I mean? It's like,
that's the
crazy,
ridiculousness of the contrast.
Yeah.
We've got people that are paying for seats that they're never going to live long enough to get to. 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds paying multiple millions of dollars to go potentially
There's
have a
money
spot
to be made out there, man.
Rocket, right?
Yeah.
But how quickly they're doing that, you can go over to this school and just buy them computers and books. And that's going to be the people that's going to actually get they're going to make that, because Elion is up there in age. These guys getting older. They're putting their mark on the world, and then they're going to, that the children of the future. This sounds corny, but I mean, but think about how many kids they're inspiring to continue.
And it's actually feasible,
one of the greatest things.
Yeah.
So put some money on them. Let them kids get the jump start to pick the pace up and accelerate it. Yes,
that's where like one of the STEM pushes came from, and like people don't know about this. Like people, and I feel like more people should know this. If you work in education or you do some shit with a school district, you can contact NASA and literally say, do you have resources I can like show people? And they will go, what? Yes, please. Here you go. Here's a book. Or we're gonna have an astronaut call your classroom right now. Like, what do you want? Like they were so. This is so off topic. And
that's.
I was watching.
It's good, man. Because that means right there. That means it's like there's guys there doing big shit, but everybody's worrying about when Kanye is gonna drop that album and not when NASA's gonna get the.
And they ain't. Yeah, I worked at a school today, right? I did some electrician work, making sure their fire alarms is good. And every single teacher that was there teaching these kids, entertaining these kids, nurturing these kids, I'm like, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you. Because these are the people that are, no matter what the parent at home could say, yo, you sound stupid as shit, yo. Shut your stupid ass up. Go over there and watch cartoons. But that teacher is at school like, I believe in you. You're great. Here, let's go over to the library real quick and look at, you know what I'm saying? And it be those. Sometimes it's the teachers that are caring for these kids more.
It's real.
Than their
I worked in education for a long time. Like that was what I did. That's what Key does. She's a teacher. My mom was a teacher. Like that's
same.
Like I was telling, like every single time you like give a shit about a kid's interest, it does It does so much because like I had teachers being like, "Oh, you can't do racing. You can't be a race car driver." That shit sucked.
Yeah.
So like just being able to like fuck Miss Truesdale, she could suck my balls. I whatever.
Yeah.
That's like third, fourth grade. But anyways, but like that yeah, right. And I'm like over here like, "What's up?" I'm hanging out with Michelle Rodriguez right now. I'm talking to Lex and Donnie. What's up?
Yeah.
Anywho,
from my hobby.
Right, from my hobby that I said I was going to be doing good at. But like, I love that when I love watching the teachers that are so inspired about it, and they want to learn about that, and they want to tell people like, oh, so like what I was saying about I was watching. I just happened to click it. It was on Facebook, and I'm going to explain this so poorly, and I apologize, you super smart people, but essentially. So you know how Tony Stark had like the computer program, he would move shit in the air, and so that's real. We have that.
I know.
NASA has it, and they're literally explaining it at like a middle school level, and I realized this is for kids. You guys are showing us you have this tech, and then they're like, "Would you like to learn more? Contact us at." But this was this lady's job. Her lady is to try to take this and be a liaison for the youth that might be watching this because they're on YouTube all the time or whatever streaming shit. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen because I wouldn't have known about that unless I hadn't gone to the new NASA Kids program.
Exactly.
Like,
imagine if you're a science teacher and you came across that and said, "Yo, I'm bringing this shit to class. I'm about to blow these kids' minds. I'm about to show them this shit." You know what I mean?
Classes.
And then it sucks because they don't pay these teachers enough for them to even fucking care half the time. So it's like this shit. Yeah, I get it, bro. It's I have kids. It's real. I have kids that are in. You know, my daughter. She's getting ready to go to preschool, which is where I was working and seeing them taking care of these kids. And I'm like, I'm a black somebody eye if something crazy happened to my daughter. I've gone through all of that with my son. He's just in high school. I picked him up from from his school today. Just what's up, cuz, ride with me, and it's just like I be on my kid about everything, and I told him like, look, do not care about all the standard shit you're supposed to. I said, you love racing, you've loved racing from day one. I've had him at the track with me every single time. But what he loves to do in his room, he collects all the cars when he was a little kid, right? He collects all the cars on the Hot Wheels. But he loved designing racetracks. He built racetracks all in his room from all kind of shit. And I said, sir, you could be an engineer and do that kind of shit for a living. Right. So I was like, think outside.
Somebody got to do it, man. Somebody did it.
Yeah, I was like, think outside the box. Yeah, because I was like, because we could get in a car, building it, driving it. That's the easiest part of that equation. I said, if you're getting mad money building the tracks, landscaping, you can own a construction company that just comes and landscapes it and plots the land. It's like you can do so many things. So you can, if you think outside the box, you could do so much shit that aids in your hobby and in your interest. It's like me, I was so all over the place. Planes, train. Well, I actually hated trains, which is wild that I was a conductor for 10 years. How the fuck? Right. And I hated trains, and I was a conductor for 10 years. But I was into planes, cars, and motorcycles, and all of this shit. I was into so many things that I didn't want to choose. So real quick,
Lex, did you like? So I'm pretty sure you seen a Saab commercial when he was like engineered by. What's the Saab commercial? That little
and fuck that Saab. I was looking at the Vigan, the fighter jet right behind it.
Yeah, because it was like the car was built by
by Saab, which built Vigan fighter planes. Right. That's where dude. I went into all of this shit, but I saw the Saab. I said, turbo, that's cool, but goddamn, the fighter plane shit.
Right.
Yeah, and it was just like, but I was so enamored with everything, I didn't want to focus on one thing and lose sight on other shit. So my ADD got the best of me. Yeah, I got all this knowledge now about all this shit later on, but when my dad said, do you want to get in this go-kart? I could buy you a go-kart. We have land right next to Thunder Hill. I could take you here every weekend. I said, Nah, because we can go to Scandia or Malibu down here in the city, and then when we come up here, I could ride dirt bikes. In my head as a kid, I felt like if I did these go-karts, I'd be losing out on dirt bike time, which was social. Because remember, I've always said these motorcycles are social to me. I don't take them seriously. Yeah, I'm good at it, but it's a social thing. I don't really go and fire up and ride by myself. I almost never do that. I go meet all the homies, go to the back roads. I don't go do track days by myself. I go with all the homies. It's a social thing. So as a kid, that was grown up in me. When we went to the ranch to our country, it was all the cousins. We brought all our friends for the weekend, and we all rode dirt bikes. And in my head, I thought, oh man, if I get a go-kart, I'm gonna be over here driving on the weekends. And I could have been Lewis Hamilton or something by now. You know what I'm saying? But but it's cool because now I get to understand, because I chose my direction in life on everything, but I have a lot of knowledge in everything that I have interest in. So I could tell my son, like, hey, you don't have to choose anything. And now how things come now, you know, we grew up, I'll speak for myself specifically. I grew up in the 80s and shit, and it was a little tougher to come across the money like that. But bro, my son probably blows like $100 in a week. He gets it, blows it, gets it, blows it.
Kids are good like that.
Yeah, it's like shit. I wish I even knew how to get $100 when I was.
Give me $100 right now, bro. Please.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But it's like, but because now we have the abundance of things of that nature. Like my son rides this. This is what the fuck. I had a 100cc, 70cc motorcycle back when I was.
Is it the 1000 or 600 right there? The white one.
600. He's ridden this one. Yeah, he's ridden the 1000, but it's. You know, it's just like kids have so much access to abundance of things.
Yeah,
now.
like
So that's why it's
like we talked about before.
But it's like, but I encourage you, like, think of anything. You like building tracks, nigga? Let's build. This is how. Now you got to look at the design and the flow.
Hey, Lex, you got to get him on. You got to get him on making tracks for a settle or something like that, man. Like that's what a lot of those guys doing now. They're pretty much like that. I got the Richard Burns track maker. Only man, I'm about to make all this stuff, and I try to make a straight road, and it was all edgy, and there was no like with the Google Earth, you just pretty much you scan you just scan the you put the GPS in, you scan the dots, and you take that path. You got to get paths or something like that. You put the paths in there, and that makes the track, and then you put all the elevation, and so it's crazy how technology, man. It's like and then
Brian,
us
as drivers.
Yeah. Hey Brian, I don't know if Lex sent me a video of Tsukuba, because I've done all these laps, and then right when I got when I pull up to Tsukuba, I just felt like when I seen the words on the track, I'm like, man, I forgot how to drive here, even though I did thousands of laps on a Gran Turismo. So I had Lex send me
the real shit is crazy.
Yeah, Lex sent me the VR, and it was the same. Like, bro, they nailed it. It was the same width. It was the same braking points, and I used it to go out there. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, he was there at the track. He was at the track.
I'm at Tsukuba.
He said, he's like, give me a visual of this track. Well, I said, what kind of car? What kind of lap times you think you're going to do? He said, this and this. I said, all right, boom.
Yeah, that was dope,
around dude. Visual right there. So he got the, all right, cool.
Bro, it's wild what they've gone with like racing sims now. Like it's stupid. Like I'm like, bro, this is like doing Mid Ohio and iRacing and then going like, all right, I'm gonna go to Mid Ohio. I'm like, this is the same thing.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. But it's the advancements of technology. We're alive at this time. Our kids, I can only imagine, man. I mean, I kind of get sad about it because I'm like, 38 now. You know what I mean? Hopefully I get to get up to 60s and 70s. I think that's a good run in life. But it's like they're gonna have so much more. Brian, do you have kids, by the way, or no kids? Or
no, I don't.
So we and Lex were talking about it before, man. Like, our kids are growing up unknowingly around cool stuff. They don't realize. Your son Lex knows. Your daughter's probably starting to figure out.
Oh, he's in it now.
Yeah, but the
little girl, she's crazy for bikes though. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
My son just now is understanding it. Everything was just normal.
Right.
Now
that everybody doesn't have that. Yeah.
And his friends follow his dad, and they're like, yo, your fucking dad is nuts. Yo, this is super cool. Oh, you get to drive with him. That's insane.
Yeah.
And now he's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm cool now. I'm
And I'll
cool
be like,
now.
and I'll be like, nah, chill.
Yeah.
Ain't none of that.
Yeah.
Ain't no cocky shit, because you can do something a little different than somebody else do. Because I tell them, because what's the whole end goal? If you get out on the track and you was doing all that cocky talk,
Yep.
and you got people watching you,
Yep.
and you trash, nigga, you trash. That's the bottom line. So all that, it's the build up to show and prove. Right? All that build up made you think that you was the man, and you ain't the man. I was like, you gotta always put in the work. The work speaks way more. Like me, there's a lot of drivers that I might be better than. There's a lot of drivers that I know that I'm better than. But there are a lot of drivers in that category that are way more popular than me.
Yeah.
I cannot even attempt to get that popular, get that social media flow. None of it. Free endorsements and all of that shit, because I rather be low and work instead of pump myself up. Because I, as a kid, was always getting the rug pulled out from under me. So I got scared to gloat at anything, to speak on any accolade. I had to always keep it low key. I know y'all been like that. You get a job and you don't want to tell nobody that you did great in the interview, because you want to wait till you go to work, get that check,
right to make
second check.
You know what I'm saying? You want to be in that thing before you be like, yeah,
real quick
I work here.
That's a good segue, man, to kind of somewhat wrap it up, man. Lex, I remember we were doing a podcast, and I knew something was going on, but you couldn't, because you that's good. You didn't mention much about the getaway. So Brian, for you, once they talked to you, and did you guys sign like a digital non-disclosure, or before they?
Yeah, we had to. We had to.
Right, so, but I mean, like, you knew about it obviously before you can talk about it on social media. Then, like, bam, they're like, all right, floodgates open, promote. And like, so how was that process for like keeping it? How hard was it for you to keep it to yourself?
Man, that was that. So this is interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm actually pretty similar. Like, I don't like talking about things or like pushing it up until I've confirmed it.
Right.
And I'm there.
Yeah.
And we're good.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I won't even post stuff until I come back home.
Yep.
Just in case
like for security.
Just in case. Maybe I was like, oh, I'm so pumped to get here. They're like, Brian, what happened? Yeah, my car caught on fire.
Yes.
Exactly, bro. Hey, it happened to me at the landing trip, but yeah.
Like I just kind of chill. Like, I was really, really pumped about it. I'm like, wow, okay, I'm gonna be doing this thing. I don't know what it's gonna be. That's gonna be on TV. I'm gonna be like, I told Key. I let my mom and dad know, my brother know. That was it.
That was it. Yep.
Right. That was it. I told the people that I'm going to see most often, and that if I tell these three, my heart shouldn't explode from the stress of me not saying nothing.
Right.
But then after doing the show, so this is probably one. Now, hopefully, someone doesn't get mad at this. It was probably one of the few times where, like, the fact that there was a pandemic, it was like kind of easy because like nobody was doing shit. So I was just like, tracks closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't doing shit.
Yeah. Nobody even asked.
I can't even get Canada.
Hey, man, I died laughing at that because Lex, I know it's happened to you, Brian. I'm not sure. Do you do any YouTube stuff, Brian? You got a channel?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll plug that. We'll plug that at the end, definitely, because we're at the end of the thing. So I should have got that first. All your social media stuff I'll put in the description so people will see that. But like, you go to the event, and I kind of had it happen last week when I did my first Gymkhana event here. I kind of pumped it up, and then I went there. I didn't finish. I went off course, and then I was like, I want to go put the video on because I'm like, man, this shit's gonna be lame. It's like an excuse. It's an excuse video. Then I had I had two cars though. The Subaru saved the day because the Subaru, Lex, the Subaru. I don't know, Brian. You seen my Subaru truck? The Subaru is a Gymkhana machine, bro. It's like it did good in grip. Drifting, it sucks in drifting. And the Gymkhana, it was like perfect, man. And I only had front brakes, by the way, because I Yeah, I'll get.
You have the handbrake on the rear.
Yeah, I didn't want to get to the store, and
wow, with your brakes out here.
You also, it's pretty much front brakes for the pedal and rear brakes for the handbrake. It's like,
Yeah.
but it still worked. I didn't understand no ABS, and the guy, I came back and he like, man, what is done? Like, it's bone stock. I made it a truck. I dropped weight. So, but it happens, man, when you pump up an event and then like you get to the event, don't do well, and then you're like, man, I'll pump this shit way up, and then.
I have such a hard time with that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that everybody is now everybody that supports me or cuts me a deal on things, they're understanding of my personality. They're like, he doesn't gloat. He's not gonna, hey, I'm gonna be here. Everybody come see me. I'm one of the dudes that when I pull in and people like, shit, what's up, boy? You came. I ain't know you was gonna be here. That's like
kind of what I do now.
And then I high five everybody. We have a blast, and then those people post on social media, yo, he came through. He brought this car, and then people, oh shit, I should have came. I would have been.
Yeah.
And
that's
on
what
the backside, on the backside, then I post everything, and then then it's like, this, that, and the third. But yeah, I'm so low because I don't like doing that. Yo, come see me, and then something, something weird might happen, and then it's just like, well, I'm here though.
So like, so I know for both of y'all, man, it was kind of like you're on the buzzer, so to speak, because they had to. I think you said you did a bunch of Corona tests leading up to getting down to Georgia, where you guys filmed at. So it was like, there was like, man, one fail ruins the whole thing, and they just wipe you out. For me, when I did the Atlanta trip, the first leg of the trip almost didn't happen because she was like, "Where's your test?" I'm like,
PCR. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm doing it down in Tokyo. She was like, "Well, you need." I'm like, I've already got the thing scheduled. And I showed her my phone, and she let me on the airplane because that was the first plane to connect to the international flight. So it almost did the trip almost, and I pumped it up, and I made videos for it, and I had stickers made for it, and I'm like, bro.
Oh Jesus, that would have sucked to come up.
And it was a good time, even though the car it was a good time to be with Alan and stuff, and first time in the States, and go to Waffle House for the first time, and man, it was, you know what I mean, it was. Yeah, man, it was.
I like the priorities right there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah, I just like going to things, doing great, having a blast with everybody that's there.
Right.
Just having a dope environment experience, and then come home and share hella pictures about it afterwards. Right. And it's like if I decided to cut the cameras on and vlog it.
Yeah, because because Brian, I know Brian, for you, man, I'm actually more questions because I already know how Lex roll. For me, it's been a thing where when I've been in Japan since 2008, and there was a time where I used to lose sessions by cameraing up my car and everything, and then after about 100 events, I'm like, dude, whatever, bro.
Fuck
I don't
these
even.
Cameras.
I don't even. So for you, all right? So when I'm trying to ask, I'm trying to messing it up. Do you document all your events by camera and video, or you just sometimes go to the track, do hot laps, and then it's your data and only for you? Is that something you battle with, or you?
It's it was something I struggled with at the beginning.
I think everybody does, yeah.
And like now we I kind of have a process for it.
Right.
One thing I know is, and it's really funny because I messed it up in Montreal and I brought the cameras, no batteries.
I've done it.
Cameras, no batteries. They were sitting on this desk right over here, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And this is something new I'm trying to do with these events going forward, because I was having an issue. So because like I was at a point where I was kind of torn. Like, all right, do I want to do it like more on like this professional? I'm explaining these things and hey, we're at such and such, cool boys, or do I want to be more like, I'm doing this a while. This is super fucking fun. Come through.
Yeah.
And you're right. So I split it. So one thing that really helped is I picked up one of these. I got DJI makes like the Mini 2.
Yeah.
And it's small. It fits in my pocket. I can just like. So what I do now is I will record stuff that's for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's it.
Yeah.
Roll.
And I
have it, man.
And that's what I used before. I had a GoPro Karma because I had the drone that came with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my helmet cam. I'll put one on the wing. And I just make sure I got big SD cards, and I just let them run because
let
them
run. You never know what you're gonna miss when you turn that shit off.
Like the fact that I was in Montreal and this dude straight up just right in front of me, and I was like, "Bro, what is happening?" And I just
because Lex
so tight.
Lex video, like, how many times, like when the guy with the BMW swerved in front of you, like how many times have you pressed stop on it, and then right after you press stop, some cool shit happens. You're like, "Fuck." It's like,
but like Brian's saying, I now have. If you look at my car and in my vlogs, I don't even use all the views right now because I've gotten so inconsistent with how my shit is. First, I'm talking. Now I ain't talking. None of that.
Yeah.
What is consistent is first-person view from the helmet. Yep. You may get a foot cam if I'm doing some gnarly tap dancing. You get one that's on my roof that I have hanging down from an extension that looks like your passenger seat. Yep. And then I have 360s running. I have all this shit running. But I put them all on the car before I leave the house. And what I do as soon as I warm the car up, and I'm like, I'm about to go drive, beep, 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 everything's running. And so it's like, it don't stop running. It don't matter if the line's a little long, getting to grid. It don't matter if we sat with a yellow flag on the track because somebody did something and they're towing them off the track. I just have cameras running. And it's, sometimes people don't know that my helmet's always mic'd. I just don't talk. I just don't talk no more. Because I used to purposely, all right, guys, so we're in the grid. That's hot as fucking. We're sitting here waiting for the track to get cleaned up, and I had a sick killer run. Fuck you about the sick killer run. Let me just put it in the video so you see
watch the sick killer run. You watch it.
Yeah, that's true, like, man. Because you do explain it, and I
too much explain. Get to the good shit.
Like kind of like, all right, we're at this track today, blah blah blah, and then track. The track for the Gymkhana one, I did do a little bit because my problem, I'm pretty sure all you guys do it because we're all good at what we do, is like I kind of get into instructor mode. I'm like, when I was doing a walk around, when you do the walk around, turn your paper this way, and I cut out a bunch of stuff to get it out to like 8 minutes, but I did like the whole walkthrough and the whole like, this is what you do, and I explained all that shit, and then I missed the course. So how dumb would it look? And I did. I was like, I did this walk. I did the walk twice, and then I did an extra 360, and then the course you don't finish.
What I learned about making my track day videos, the grip video, RX-8 track day videos, I take the most pride in, because the point that I try to get across is this is an everyday car that a lot of people deem slow.
Right.
I'm gonna bore you with the lap times of a slow car because slow cars look slow. I can show you what lap time exactly, and that's exactly.
You put me out on Hoosiers. Now, watch what happens.
Yeah. So if you look at my videos, they are always chopped up to me setting up a kill or getting by that kill. Or if you do get an entire lap, it's because I want you to see. For people that are,
you got to see it.
They look and be like, "Here's where the start and finish hit," and goddamn, he is mobbing. He's mobbing. Boom! He just did this whole lap time, so you get it unedited. Because a lot of times people think that you over edit. No. I can show you pure footage of me not making any mistakes. It's like that, but it's the ones that are fast, that are special. I'll give you the whole thing. So certain track days, you just get the exciting bang, 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 bang. Oh, he's running with this group of cars. When I ran down that C7, when I ran him down, I showed that was 4 laps of me working to get closer and closer and closer. But I chopped it up to, I like this portion of track because I was faster than him. So I show you this portion of track, but I show you this portion of track for like 6 seconds, right? But then I take the next lap with that other portion of track, but I put a little bit between where you show me going down the front straight like, this son of a bitch gapping me, because they fight back on the straights. I fight back in the turns, Yeah. And so I'm trying to get people so they look at the footage and like, damn, I was stuck on that shit. So then it's like, okay, I know when it's good is if I get my wife to watch the whole thing and she don't look away from it.
And Brian, real quick, what was your, because Lex, that one video I said, man, you still ain't do it, by the way, man, where I was like, you're going to buy all those cars and put the price tag on top of it as you're going to buy it.
Oh!
Hey Brian, what was your most significant kill in your car, man? Like far as like what I mean, let's take the driver out of the equation because it could just be the driver's new. He's scared of the car. It don't matter. He's driving the Jeep. He's driving the Jeep.
It was during a finals lap. Probably my favorite sequence. And then when I look back at it, I'm just like, why were you so reckless? I know why I was being reckless. Man. I was on Trofeos, which they're amazing. So there's so it was actually the weekend of my first podium in CSCS. So we're at Mosport DDT track, and I took out 2 C5 Corvettes in 1 lap. And one of them was onto the main straight. So everybody in attendance,
they got to see that pass.
Oh, I got that one on video. That shit made me that was my favorite. You
gotta link me to that one, man.
Oh, absolutely. And it was the most shit talking I've ever done in a video without saying any words, because I was just putting in pictures, like I was putting out blue flags and shit.
I love that when you can capture that on camera that they're getting blue flagged because of you.
Oh man,
I love that.
Bro. That and no disrespect to either of those drivers because they were doing their shit, but it's a C5.
Yeah.
Like, I know what they can do.
Yeah.
But that was the day. I'm finding it right now. That was the day I was absolutely on one, and I said I'm going for it today. The car is ready. I'm here, and I was just eating them in the corners. I mean, and then that's the thing. That's the fun thing about the GTI is like, if you once it don't take nothing for me to put the power down, bro. Like as long like whether it's in the corner or in the straight. Well, I mean, maybe not the initial corner, but exit and down the straights. This thing will just haul. It just hauls ass, man. It was so fun. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna put that in this. I think I called it the day I destroyed 2 Corvettes or some shit too.
Easy.
I'm pretty sure it's what I did.
After we get done with this, man, I'll get the links from and everything, and I'll mix them in there and stuff like that. So, man, that's that to me, man, that's always we spoke about a little bit, Lex and Brian, is kind of filling you in, man. I'm going to be coming back to the States to do not only because I was saying drifting a bunch, but I'm coming back to do grip as well. So coming back to do the pro-ams and like work my way up. Like I'm not petitioning and not trying to use my shop status to get into the whatever. We all got up in a drifting thing. I'm not sure if you follow that. People petition.
Yeah.
Guys use their cloud or whatever to petition in and jump over guys. So I'm going to get my license and then get the pro spec and all that stuff like that. Just what I want to do. But my thing is I'm going to do. I already have it in my mind because I'm watching. And guys are doing too much, man. They're not. Their cars. There's too much going on and not enough driving. If that makes any sense,
bro. I mean, as someone who has been doing the time attack stuff for a couple of years, like I think there's why are we making street cars at 500 and putting them in like the 3rd division? Like, what's happening? Why we don't like I've said this time and time again, like, bro, like, give the people in the lower classes, make them so they can't use the fast tires. Put them on 400 tripper tires, like for competition. Have all the power you want. Take the tires away and just let them try to figure out how do we use the car, because tires make such a big difference in that, like my car. I'm a little biased to this because I was always a fan of time attack or just the driving in general when the cars looked like actual street cars and they still are. Like
that
no just
part.
People. Like I liked this thing I liked about like the whole togue and drifting stuff. It was like a regular fucking car and you went out and did your shit. It was cool.
Yes, sir.
So when you have like, and I'm just taking a pot shot because it's the one league I could think of. Like, so you have your like unlimited class cars. So that's where we're doing 1,200 horsepower Integras. That's sick. Go ahead. You got wings to the stratosphere.
Did you see the new Hoonigan video with that Corvette?
I've seen that car.
They have 5 guys standing on the front end.
Yes.
It's whatever. Who cares? The splitter is about this much longer than the front end, and it's got 1,200 horsepower twin turbo. Goddamn, how do you run that?
I think it's crazy.
How do you run that down?
It is insane. Now, one of the most funny things about that is he runs that same car in 2 classes, unlimited and track mod. he could run it in track mode, but it's by changing the tires. Same car.
So for that car, is that car done? Because we talked about it before, Lex. So is a Laguna? I said Saguna again almost. Sakuba. Nobody made that track yet. Laguna and Sakuba put together, but so God damn it, man! I just said it again, Laguna. So Laguna Seca like the track where your car has to make that time to be ranked? Because
all of the organization I drive with,
right,
you have to make that.
Right. You get what I'm saying? It's like the track in it, because in Japan, the track in Japan is Tsukuba. It don't matter how fast you are at Fuji, how fast you are at Suzuka, your local track, Tsukuba, time attack, that's the track. You're getting a minute, getting under a minute, especially if you got street tires on, street R compound. You get under a minute, like you're instantly like you start getting phone calls.
You're in that club.
I got a 112. I got a 112 in a Subaru bone stock, and I also didn't prep majorly, so I was 12 seconds is a shit ton of time. But I feel if I had my S2000, I would have been like in a 105s, 106, maybe 104, and
So I have a lot of guys that do not. I can go to Sonoma. Sonoma's literally right over my right shoulder, right here. It's my closest track. I go there every week. I know it like the back of my hand. It was the very first track that I went fast on, that I felt like I was going fast on, etc. I go there. I say, yo, I'm 300th of a second off of the fastest overall RX-8 lap time. He's got tires, he's got Olin suspension, he's got this, he's got that, he weighs this, and he has this much horsepower.
That's important right there. Stock. He weighs that. People don't factor it in.
Yep. My car's stock. My car's stock, and I'm on street tires. People be like, all right, if I say, hey, at Laguna Seca, I'm 1 second off of the fastest lap time, and I didn't get a chance to really get in it because I blew sound.
Right.
And whatever, but I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna oh shit.
Yeah.
But 300ths of a second off of the record versus a full second off of the record, but because I say I go to Laguna and did it versus Sonoma Raceway, you say Sonoma Raceway and they'll be like crickets. If you say Infineon, oh really, serious point? Oh, same track, dog. Same track, just different owners, right? But but it's tracks that have that credibility and yeah, I can go there and like all my track guys are saying, yo, put this tire on, put like the car, so that because Brian, the tires. Yeah. The RX-8 is that I'm chasing that has the fastest time is 3,000 pounds, 212 wheel horsepower. He's on a Hoosier R6.
Damn.
And Olin suspension, big brake kit, and all of this shit. I'm on just a Falcon 660 with exhaust and field suspension. So I'm 300ths of a second off of his time.
There you go.
And it's like, so then the dudes are looking and they're like, yo, so I didn't know this about the track, so I'm still a noob to it. I've done hundreds of track laps in my life and every track up and down the West. But when it comes down to really chasing lap times, I don't know all of this. Hey, yo, you should go out there at 10 a.m. The track will be quick, but it's not going to be overly hot. You're gonna. I guarantee your lap time that you got right now, you're going to be 1 second faster than that. You should go out. We're going to make sure you get this record. And I'm like, what?
Right. Like, that's the scientific part, and that's where like the guys that when I did Tsukuba, I didn't know it was my first time there. I was excited to be there. Always done 1,000 laps on the game. One thing I messed up because I came in drift mode. I had my bumper off because it was easier to load the car on. They were like, "Hey," they were like, "Line up, let's go." And I'm still putting bumpers on, my gloves off, my helmet's off. I'm putting dude, and I still ran. I came back again, like you said. The guys were like, "Who the fuck's this guy?" Pointing and laughing. I came back and they came around the car and they were like, "Oh, it's actually fast," but there was one Evo, Subaru. There was this one Subaru. He let everybody go twice. He didn't go out, and then he went on the third one when the track was already warm. The track was already tires, and then he laid down. He went out for 3 laps and laid down the fastest time of the day.
Yep.
That was it. 3 laps. And then he also was waiting for the next session because the next session was actually his boys. His next session was the Cyber Evo with the Canards to the Mars and all of those cars. They were waiting. They were like, get out. All right, you guys go away. This is the real shit now. The track's already THC natural. THC is down on the track and it's all nice and gummy and all that stuff, man. So
and it's funny you say that because when I do go to track days with my drift cars, I do take the front bumper off. But with my track car, I have it at the ride height that I can load it on and off the trailer without taking the bumper off because it's just something. It's just something about going there and people seeing your car together.
Hey, 1 second, guys. Actually, keep talking, man. I gotta talk.
Yeah. It's just something about when I go to the track, drift cars will expect us. We move slow. We get shit ready. We're changing tires. The car damn near ain't got the new tires on it. You got to change them from the last event. But track day, being prepared and being ready, and I know you probably fully understand this. When you show up and all I'm doing is, it's a lot colder than I expected on this session right now. Let me drop a couple PSI for some grip. You're there. You're ready to rock. You're when they say it's your run group, it's time to go. You're in, strapped in, helmets on, gloves on, and you're pulling up. It's no, hold on, give me the glove real quick. Hold on, let's get this together. Yo, hey, fuel me up. No, man, no. I find a different etiquette. I have a different habit when I do grip, but I do drip. And
you got a timetable. We're on it.
Yeah. I feel like I take it more seriously. And it's funny because guys that know me when I pull up to the track, they're like, yo, ain't you a drifter? I'm like, no, I'm a driver. Like, I drive. And then when they see me really, they're like, oh, so you can really, I'm all right. I'm a driver. This is what I really want to do. But it's just being prepared so that I'm not a sore thumb out of the ordinary because, see, when I pull up and they're already like, yeah, there go that drifter. Nope, not today. Today. I'm ready and rocking.
And that kind of pays it also kind of shows like there's just sometimes there's two different mentalities when it comes to those two different specialities because like you can, and I'm just generalizing, for the most part you can definitely have a little bit more fun if you're going out for a drifting session. You don't really need it's competition is different. Competition is competition. Yeah. But you can just I'm just gonna go pitch it sideways this time. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna get close to my boy. We'll do whatever. But like when you're at a track day and you're actually you're going for times and you're pushing stuff, like you got to be on it because you're gonna be going fast and there's other people around you that are expecting you to not fuck up.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
the thing.
This dude at the track day when he wrecked my car and then my boy sent me out in his track spec MRS. Ooh. So I never drove this car. I said, how's it work? It rotates. I said,
that means something too.
So the dude with the S2000 that was tracked out, he had no clue. I had never seen this inside of his car a day in my life. We're coming out of the shit and we're battling for 4 laps. He had no clue I never touched this car. We go over turn 1 in Laguna Seca about 112 miles an hour, door to door, and as soon as we clear the crest, there's a slow boy in the braking zone. And we're like, ooh, and we're inches from each other. And then I back off and let him by. We go in and boo. And then when I walk up to him, I say, yo, that was crazy. Like, we was battling. He said, yeah, that was the most fun I had. I said, I never drove that car, right? I never drove. He said, God damn, it was flying around like that. Yeah. I was like, boy said it oversteered. It oversteered. I had to keep it in control. You know what I'm saying? He was like, well, God damn, I didn't know. But that goes to what you say. They trust that equipment that you're using, know how to use it, and you're not going to fuck them up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you mentioned that, like, like I'm glad you brought it up again, man. We got, because Brian, the people who follow him will get to see it and hear it. Like a lot of guys, they don't realize like when you gotta, and I told the story too, Lex. When you go to the track, man, you gotta realize the car you're driving that day, where it's at, and like tires you got on there, the suspension setup. Because when they entered me in the pro class because of my pro drift license. Even though drifting and grip, but they knew I drove a bunch, so they was like, all right, you with the pros. Well, not pros, the top class. I went out there one lap, and I was like, yeah, nah, dude. This is a bone. This is a bone stock.
Good job.
This is a bone stock EJ25.
Yeah, but knowing where you're at with it is the
and it's like I know I'm faster than this guy. Right.
Thing.
The GT. I mean, the Elysius, GTRs, Lotuses, they going around me like this, right? And I'm like, then I get the flag. Mm-hmm. I'm like, fuck, that's for me. So I come back around. Yeah. I look at the coordinator, and he was like, and I was like, all right, cool. And I went down. So now I'm lapping people now because So in a nutshell, it was a Subaru wagon, and I made it to a truck with a bone stock EJ20 in it, and it held Teltec. That's it.
But you had more fun then, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it was like that car was made for like, it was a fun car, but it was competitive in a class below. It was like
in a different class.
Right.
Yeah. But you know how many people do not want to accept the fact that they aren't up to par to where they thought they were. Right. When they registered for an event and they homeboy said, "Oh, I'm in this group. Just come in this group with me." Right. And they go and they have no clue what, who, where, when, why this operates. Yeah, like I had a dude, we're mashing in the battle zone. Coming out of the S's at Sonoma. The pit exit is left of turn 10. He's hugging tight on turn 10. We got 3 guys go around the outside of him, and I'm coming chugging because I got to keep in this pace because they're about to run up the straight where I got to stay close. This motherfucker went with his hand out the window, looking back at me going,
oh, no.
And I'm like, this nigga wants to pit. And he's going full throttle. He's still full throttle hugging the right. Instead of being 3 and 4. Yeah, he was 50 feet from the track exit. And if I didn't say, look, let me just back off and let this dipshit in. We ain't racing. I'm going to lose this train of people, whatever. But this nigga he was doing the Family Guy. I go left right now. Good luck, everybody. That shit, right? And so I was like, yo, he had no idea what he was supposed to do. In that session, he should have been slowing down 3 turns earlier, doing this to everybody he's seen come hot behind him, and he should have been making that car track right, track left.
He had buddy that was with him saying, "Don't put your stupid ass out there unless you know how to do it the right way." But we know not everybody got a friend who's going.
But these dudes don't accept the fact. And then when track guys say, "Hey, yo, my man, I'm putting you in this group now."
Like you said, man.
Now they got a problem.
Right, because the thing what they don't understand is like it's the car's not capable, the driver's capable, or both are not capable. For me, I was capable as a driver, but the car I was in at that time was not faster than the R35 GTR with 700 horsepower. It was not faster than the Elise with a turbo K20 in it. It was, and I was like, dude, down. And he was like, yeah. And then I got respect from the guy because I acknowledged it. I didn't make a scene, and I went down to the next group, which was whatever it was, and I actually got to go out again. I got to go out.
Yeah.
I got to turn around
right after.
Yeah. So I actually got 4 sessions instead of 3. So I was like, cool. And 15-minute sessions, 3 15-minute sessions for $280. Yeah. And the
right.
Awesome. Yeah. But, I mean, it's like bam, 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 bam. Oh, you missed your time. You're done. They don't wait because
there's no messing around.
Tsukuba is their time is a D1 event they canceled because the one guy something happened.
It go overtime
at 15:30. You finish.
Done. That's I found out that's the reason why Formula D left Sonoma, because they ran overtime and Sonoma don't play.
Yeah.
They said this shit is over with. They said no, it ain't. They were in the top 8. They ran overtime.
Yeah.
And so they were blocking Sonoma staff and wouldn't let them come on the track because they were going to drive out on the track and be like, y'all motherfuckers are done. And they were like,
that's
no,
we're
not.
Which makes you wonder, like, did no one have money to pay for more track time?
They didn't pay fine for that?
No. It's a time frame.
Right.
The county says it's over at this time.
Oh.
Yeah. Tsukuba's like that too.
So, they have money to pay for it, but it's like this is a hard time.
Right.
Via the county. So
you trying to get the track shut down?
Yeah.
So they were like, y'all out of here.
Yeah. So the D1 event, Brian, that happened about 5-6 weeks ago, maybe 7. They were like in the top 16. They were going down, and somebody had a mechanical failure or something like that, and they had to clean up the track. And in that process, they didn't get a chance to run the top. I think the last 4 battles. So they gave the win to the guy who qualified first. So there was a bunch of guys mad because the guy who qualified first or the highest, he was an okay driver, but he wasn't going to win the event.
Yeah, you could tell.
The guy who's going to win the event was the guy that's won the championship last year. And the 2021 was like a blur. So they did the 2020 championship in February 2021. And then 2 weeks, they turned right back around and ran 2021. Right.
Yeah.
So just like the Olympics, Olympics was 2020, Olympics 2020, whatever. So I was like, man, you learn, but that stuff like that, you learn by going to the track. You learn by messing up.
Yeah.
And you like, the next time I go to Tsukuba, bumpers on, gloves in the cockpit, nothing in the car, line up, and you learn that stuff. But guys, like, they just don't want to do that and like go down, and you learn how to place yourself. So if I didn't go to Laguna, if I'm going to put myself in the lowest class in Laguna my first time there, because if I drive fast like Lexis did, they're going to bump you up to the purple band. Come on up here, man.
That's a great way to learn the track.
Right. And like hey man, like you're lapping dudes that's not helping you or them come up to this level. So if the coordinator could bump you up, then that's like, all right, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So,
yep, and they will do it.
Yeah.
But so what are your plans? Like the final outcome with this car?
Yeah.
Do you plan on changing to a different chassis? And what are your like racing series goals for like 22?
Okay, I'm gonna answer that, and let's see how. Okay, that's a good question. All right, so, actually, I'm gonna answer the last part first because that makes more sense. So what is Brian's goals long term and everything, and like where do we want to be at? So what my goal is, I want to get into TCR racing at
You post that shit, I see. Yeah.
Like that's my shit. I want to be, whether it could be IMSA, it can be SRO, we can be doing. I'll race in Italy. I'll go to TCR Italy. I don't mind. But that's what I'd like to do is like that's the goal. I want to be at some point where I'm racing in a championship series, preferably with under the Easthood name. That'd be great. But I understand, sometimes you got to merge stuff. You got, someone's, it is what it is. If I could be on the grid. And I'm fighting for the championship, not a one-off. Not a one-off. I want to be in the championship. I want to do that. But to get there, there's some steps we got to do. But so for the GTI itself, I'm actually at an interesting point with it because obviously, we just got the car wrapped and everything looks awesome now. We have next season to look forward to because really, there wasn't really much competition for this year with everything that went down.
Right.
So there's two paths really. Path A is I say I'm gonna go be like everybody else and go absolutely nuts. Direct port injection, start running E85, completely build some wild shit, and now I have a 550 wheel horsepower GTI. Yeah, some crazy stuff, and I just start going nuts. The other option is not going as high on power, but continuing to fortify the vehicle and make it as awesome as possible, and then I may still do time attack with the GTI, but I'll only compete in one series, which is probably going to be CSCS for like full time, and then everything else will be fun. And because I want to drive more tracks, I want to get out to more. I want to take the GTI to go to Laguna. I want to go down to Road Atlanta. I want to get out to that one they're building in Missouri, Ozark or whatever, So, like, I want to do that. And I love the GTI as a platform. It's super fast, super great. The one thing that's not that great about it is it's expensive to replace any body panels or the engine, because that's a 7K engine.
Yeah.
And you can't just replace fiberglass panels because they don't exist, because it's a body on it's a modern car. It's got all the shit to it. So I've debated thinking about some other platforms, about other possibilities we can go into. It just kind of depends on which way I decide to take the program and what we're actually going to do going forward with it. These are actually discussions we're having right now, because I could get a C5 Corvette and just wild out and have fun. Like I want to do some sideways shit. It'd be fun, or get like this shit with the Fiats. That was hella fun in the little Fiat 124.
Hoonigan. Yeah, the Hoonigan.
Yeah, like that was mad fun. That was my first time ever being like, "You want me to drift? All right, let's go." As you saw the results. So So I'd love to do something like that, but I'm gonna be honest. If I could do something, it'd be so stupid. So my girl's got an all track. I want to get another all track.
What year?
Hers is a 17.
17.
It's beautiful. I love that car. It's so balanced. I would love to get an all track. It's all wheel drive. Have the wagon and do everything I did to the GTI, and do that to a wagon and just do nothing but terrorize folks with it. Like just because you can get that shit sideways so fast, especially in so one of the companies like DSC Tractive makes a Halodex controller for it, so I can put that power to the rear. Right. Like I can have a wagon that has cruise control and lane assist and just
that's nuts.
Oh man, it'd be especially, and I want to get the green with the Marrakesh interior with the brown. Oh, that'd be amazing. So that's another idea I'm playing around with. But one of the things that we really want to do over the next 2 years is I'm actually talking to one of the guys for TC America, which is they're part of the SRO umbrella, about getting into whether it's one of their Skip Barber cars or one of the guys from Gen Racer, and getting out there and really doing it. Like do a full on race weekend. Let's go. Let's see what this looks like, because I want to do that. I love passing. I love the overtaking. I love the strategy and the data that goes along with it. So that's what I want to do. We're gonna get to that. I know I'm not doing it with my GTI.
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned on Imson, like I had Eric Sue on, which Eric Sue is he's a you ever heard Eric Sue, or you heard of him, Brian?
I've heard that name.
Well, he's a legendary tuner, man. Like he was the guy that won the first showdown when the Japanese came over here. And he had the Subaru. Okay. Yeah, so and he had
the suit, the bug-eyed Subaru.
Yeah, the bug-eyed Subaru. Then he bought the R34.
Which tuning house did he work under?
XS Engineering. Yeah. So he's an IMSA. He's an actual IMSA tuner engineer for Honda and everything, man. So
okay.
So I mean he's the ultra. I mean, for what he does, and he's one of those handful of guys that do a lot. He's the guy who did all the base maps for Power FC. He's one of those guys, and he's like up there, but he's so everyday chill, the best type of person, man. Where you anyway, man. What I'll do is I'll link him up with you guys. He can tell you exactly what you gotta be doing and who you gotta talk to and all that stuff like that, man. So I just believe in spread, because you mentioned IMSA. Eric's IMSA actually works on the IMSA team, so hey, man, why not let awesome. You guys up? But they're coming to Watkins Glen in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna be there in the pits, and I'm gonna ask all the questions. I'm gonna get into all your shit, because I gotta get in this, and I just that's my shit. But one thing I know from the IMSA shit, because he got a GTR he's been rebuilding for the last 5 years, so that tells me that it's very, very, very time consuming for what he does, man. So that's the thing, man. It's like there's different levels to it. But at that, man, it kind of talking to him. I'm a loner, and I run my shop by myself. I don't have a crew or any people or stuff, man. And so it's like you got to have a somewhat of a small team to make things happen, and that's one of my biggest Achilles heels. And Lex talked about. I mean, Lex, we had Stanbro on, and Stan. Not familiar with Stan Williams, man. He won. Him and Essa won a championship with just him, a driver and a crew chief. That's it. 2 guys.
Wow.
Yeah. Which was, you see a
lot
FD,
of work.
Like Lex said, not eating, not going out, rebuilding that suspension, rebuilding that transmission, rebuilding that engine. It could be done, man, but it's like you got to have that. At that levels, there's just like that guy's on the jacks, that guy's on the tires, that guy's on this. Yeah. And if anybody fucks up, you're not getting that win, man. So that's where, that's where I got to come to grips to, like what I want to do with it.
That little thing.
Yeah. So I definitely want to. I'm right now focusing on getting my JAF license so I can do time attack on the. I can enter in a privateer, and I mean, I you could say you could talk, man. I just want to go out there and do my thing, and the results will show if I got it.
It comes with time.
Yeah, and that's all it is. I know I'm capable of it, but that's my thing, man, and everything, man. We're at over 3 hours right now, man, and I know it's like probably almost.
Let me ask one more.
Yeah, go. Yeah, it don't feel like it, right? See, me and Lex is normal. We always say 1 hour, and we be at 3 hours, man. So it don't feel like it. We go, Lex.
So here's a question. I always see you post those full built car, or those
TCR ones.
Yeah. So like you see how all these YouTubers and shit are going in and they're trying out for super Trofeo Lamborghini shits. They're buying Trofeo Evo cars. They're buying actual Cup cars. If somebody came along with that kind of funding, if you were able to work that out, that would be your dream ideal.
Absolutely. FCP. Sorry, I don't know. FCP they just sold their GTI TCR cars. They sold them to 2 different companies. They were like, I think it was like $70K with spares, and I'm over here just like, whoa.
Yeah. Right there is where like, man, I don't want to go to space. I just want to buy race cars, dude.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. Yeah. Because like, and it was crazy is like, so like my car makes way more. I just realized that's going to be a tangent, and I could save it for another time. But the answer is yes.
I know.
Yes, I would love because you can buy the panels for those. Like those are all they have fiberglass panels for. They all come apart. It comes from Volkswagen. Even the Cooper works as well. Just they're turnkey and they're so relatively low maintenance, and it's a like TCR. The series was created to be an entry cost level into high class, like World Touring Car Championship with like Rob Huff and Mikulich and all these guys, and Norby and all them dudes. Like they're fucking crazy drivers, insane. Like Mikel Ascona, that dude's nuts. But still, they're the same vehicles that you and I can race. Like if you watch TCR UK, those are all privateer options, and it's like it's there. It's affordable in comparison.
It is. It's funny. You can walk into a credit union and say, "Oh, I want to get a loan for $70,000." Oh, great! What you getting? A Hellcat? No, getting this Volkswagen race car.
I'm starting up my small business.
Get your weird ass out of here, man. Right? So what does the TCR stand for, by the way?
Touring car.
Touring car. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure it stands for touring car, but TCR. You know what? Hold on, I got the internet right here.
Well, I know TC. Yeah, because all the 330i TCs and I don't know what the
touring car racing. So TCR stands for touring car racing. British Touring Car Championship, World Touring Car Championship, which is and TCR is the evolution of those touring cars that we remember from back then.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and Toka, all of those old series.
Toka, exactly. You take Toka, TCR is new Toka. If you want, that's why you have TCR Italy, TCR Russia. You have the Americans. You have the world version. But they're all using the same cars, the same platform, same parts more or less, and it's all homologated from the FIA. It is so fantastic. Some of the best racing I've ever seen.
Crazy, man. It's crazy how deep people to see like in NASCAR F1, the main ones, but they don't realize how many different. Like I was looking at sprint cars. I was looking at the what's those other cars, man? They got like the smaller engines. They look like little the
Legends.
Legend,
cars.
Yeah. There was one for sale.
Oh, the mini ones in Australia.
There was an actual Legends car for sale.
They run them out here.
Yeah, there was one for sale in Japan for $10K, and I was like, dude, I was trying to sell shit and it sold, and it was already done. It was already spec'd. It was already. It was like somebody imported it over from America, and I was just gonna run it around the track because nobody would ever seen that car before and do YouTube stuff with it. And it got sold, man. But it was like that shit. Like that is stuff I wanna, because it's like, all right, the regular cars, the FDs, the FCs, the S13s, the Soras. I've driven all those. I've owned most of them, and it's like now it's like
there's nothing like owning a race car.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So there's in Japan, there's JGTC, of course. There's a lot of JGTC cars sitting in farm fields, just out there. So
because those
they're out there.
Would be legendary.
There's a Super out there.
From the late 90s. Yeah, I saw
they're
that
out there. You gotta find them, and then when you find them, they don't want to sell them for obvious reasons because it's cool. But I'm like, bro, I just want to buy one and like this, dude.
You can find it, dude. Like I'll hear people, like especially in New York, people buy like the old Lolas and single seater cars. Like my buddy Jason, he's got one. I got to drive because they'll be like, whatever, Pat, it's got a Hayabusa engine, run it.
Yeah, they
yeah, for sure. Yeah, they do have those joints.
Yeah, I found those. They had this one single seat over here was powered by a CA. I forgot the name of the series, but I looked it up. I never knew it existed. There was this particular chassis. It was a Nissan production fiberglass chassis. I forgot the name of it, but it was a series, and it was it was like $5,000 for the thing, and it had a CA18 in it, and it was rear wheel drive. They had the transmission in the back, and they was like, you got to do all this stuff. I was like, cool, CA, whatever. And I was like, man, I was about to click buy on it, and I was like, I got to pay bills. Then I just, and you know what I mean? It's like being an adult, you know what I mean? I'm like, I was like, fuck.
Being an adult sucks.
Yeah, because I was like, I got to go pick it up. Get it here, get it running. Overall, I'll be looking at about $15K to get it back up to code and everything. So I was like, nah, I'll let it pass. But that's the thing where
eventually
it's like, bro, you know, we're making a living and we're doing what we got to do for our responsibilities. It's like, man, but I just want to buy race car parts and like, and do all that stuff, man. So yeah, it doesn't get old. And the guys are there again, listening, watching for this 3 hours, man. Again, we got three guys, you know, from different walks of life and everything. We're all, you know, all of African American descent, but we're doing the same thing, doing it differently. So just get started, and then you'll get. And next thing you know, man, I can't believe it's already been over 23, 24 years since I've been doing this, man. And when I first started, I had a Celica ST getting laughed at, and you know, then I had the 240 getting laughed at with open diff trying to drift, and now I'm in Japan running a performance shop. So, like, you never know what's going to happen.
It's just wild, right?
10, 15 years. And now, man, with the connections, it's happening for Adam LZ. I'm pretty sure you know who Adam LZ is, Brian.
Yeah, I know he is.
So, like, a guy to go from BMX stuff to getting S13 to, like, now he's in FD. And people knock him like he's learning on a stage where he's learning in front of everybody. And they like he's crashing, like, bro. He's only been pro.
Man, you can't knock blood,
right?
Man.
He's rookie of the year, pro for 2 years.
That's what that shit happens. Right. Like, you guys, you're only this far away from the wall. Like, you think?
Well, everybody's like, I'm like, bro. He's like, you don't understand how hard it is to do what he's doing. You know what I mean? It's not easy. And the thing is, the guys, they see Fast and Furious, and they think, oh, I could do that. J-turn in an Evo, all-wheel drive on the highway. Like, no, you can't.
And none of them have the understanding of how hard it is to drive into a corner at 75 miles an hour sideways, and then somebody puts a white blanket over your window with backlighting on it.
Yeah,
that is the most intense element you could ever see. When you cross in the smoke, behind the smoke, through some smoke, I don't even get it. It's a leap of faith until you come out the other side.
Yeah, you just listen to the other car make noise.
Yep.
At the same time as your car making noise. It's like, yeah, dude, you get lost in. I never been lost in a big smoke like Lexus, but I've been in smoke, and it's like it's in your it's in your cabin, it's in your helmet, and you got the windows rolled up, and it's just like, I hope I don't run into a guy on the other side of the smoke.
A bright sunny day makes that smoke glow like a light bulb. You just went into a light bulb, and you're like,
hey, you know what?
Fuck.
Because both of you guys are plane guys, it's like some funny shit that popped in my mind when you said that. You know how people be like, man, I wish I can go up there and touch those clouds and do all that stuff, and then the same people when fog happens, man, fuck this fog. Like, do you know clouds is fog, right?
And then don't know how to look at the instruments on those planes.
Yeah, people like, I love clouds. I'm like, dude, clouds is fog in the air. It just didn't come down yet.
Come in that thing doing a light bank.
Yeah, turbulence before.
Roll the other way, and you're like, "Oh, I think I'm level."
Right.
And then all of a sudden, if you ain't looking at or can't find those instruments, you're gonna be like, you're gonna start getting too low action.
Yeah. Hey, real quick question for you, both of you guys, man. When you fly, where do you book? Where do you book your seat at? I'm curious. Where do you prefer to sit in an airplane? No, I mean, as far as like the front. More front, back, or middle?
Over the wings.
Oh, you like over the wings?
I mean, you gonna die.
Wings are comfort plus. Wings are comfort plus.
I thought the back was cool because I had to, like, when I first time sat in the back, I'm like, do you feel everything in the back, dude? Like, it's like, yeah. I like
yeah.
And you hear
that's my thing. Yeah, I like to look at all the shit.
Yeah,
I like to look at it happening. Yeah. I like to be like, yo, this is dope.
This is my last story, but then I do gotta roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wing seats are cool until you're flying with your parents and you look out to your left and you see that the left prop engine is smoking, and then the propeller stops. and you the only one that notices shit.
You'd be like, look, you look straight again, like, nah, I ain't gonna say shit to nobody. Like,
I was just like, I'm not looking, Brian. I'm like, you already saw this shit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, at least it's not like that one video where you saw a dude look out the window
and that shit was
and
like
the whole cowl of the engine is hanging off.
Oh yeah,
fire,
shit.
doing oh my god.
Yeah, it's like a wash machine with like tennis shoes in it. It's just like boom. But hey man, hey Brian, man, this honestly, man, it's like this is one of those podcasts where even before we said our first word, I knew it was gonna go long. I knew it was gonna be a good time, man. And like that's why I had to have Lex on it because like Lex kind of is we just add to it because I did my last podcast was just me by myself and I get all aggressive and angry and shit. So like,
you ain't a soldier. You don't know what this shit like. I was like, I agree with that.
Yeah, and then
you ain't got no combat training. Shut your fucking mouth. I feel it.
Hey, dude, and like,
you gotta let them know.
Hey, yo, that'll be like if somebody first time seeing my podcast, like, nah, man, click off. I'm not.
Mad aggressive.
It's like unsubscribe because you subscribe when you seen Afghanistan. Like, nah, dude, unsubscribe. But yeah, hey man, hey Brian, man, great time. Hey Brian, if you could, man, please send me all of your the links to the videos we talked about. The track you mentioned, track that was up in WitchCon. We were talking about the WitchCon, so I can put the picture in there, and then just send me all social media stuff that way I could drop it in there. So all the guys that are listening and watching could definitely follow your channel and everything. And yeah, man, we all about networking. We all about doing it again. Definitely could do this again. Podcast is cool, man. So my hopes is everybody out there listening and watching, man, you guys got a chance to learn more about Brian because I did. We didn't talk about music that much. Next time we could do that.
Lex, and follow his East Hood Racing is his.
I'll put it all down there.
On Instagram, team's name is East Hood Racing.
Okay.
Personally, it's Fun with Frozie. It's FROZIE. EastHoodRacing.com. We have East Hood Racing on YouTube. And eventually I'll have my own personal channel. I'll be bringing that back online at some point, or hopefully within the next week or two, because I've been doing so much shit. I'm like, listen, I gotta have a place where I can just dump my fun videos where I just be like, yo, just look at it.
Yeah, man. And then YouTube got the shorts now, so it's almost like they want to do they want to take the Instagram stuff where you got the videos.
Instagram
hey, Lex,
YouTube
you see YouTube got the brand new when you put your intro for premieres. You could change your different music.
You can play a video,
the video, and also the countdown is different. It's not the same one; it's a different one. So I picked the dramatic one. But yeah, man, it's.
Oh really?
Yeah, man, it's again, man. Technology is guys that are listening and watching, man. This is what technology is used for properly. Linking up, guys talking, dropping ideas, and also the guys that are looking out there, watching, reading. You want to get into racing? Just get tires, a decent seat. Suspension if you need it, because sometimes S2000 stock suspension is really good. And then just get out there, man. Don't get all it. You don't need wise fab. You don't need the LS1. You don't need boost. You don't need nitrous. Just get out there and
get out there.
Yeah, get out there. Autocross, SCCA, NASA. There's way too much stuff out there, man, not to be inactive. And believe it or not, man, you'll meet somebody at a NASA event, SCCA event that'll change your life, man. They'll introduce you to this guy, introduce you to that guy. Next thing you know, you're in the IMSA pit hanging out with them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's real, man. Just get it done out there again, man. Brian and Lex, thank you guys for tuning in. We're not tuning in. You guys are here. You're not tuning in. Thank you guys for being here. And again, I wasn't on that plane that crashed. To clear it up.
You was not.
And when I worked on it.
Cinder from Killer Instinct sitting right there.
Yeah.
On fire.
Yeah.
Beers or some shit. You live in that past land or some shit. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for bringing me through, man. I appreciate that.
Guys.
Yeah, bud.
All right, so cool. It's gonna be guys. It's gonna be Donnie sign off from South Japan. Brian from Syracuse, New York. Lex from Richmond, California, not Virginia, California, not Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, CA, not VA.
Everything. And you guys know it for guys who. We're listening from Brian. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. That's where I'm born and raised from, and everything. So,
are you?
Yeah. That's me. Yep. Well, no. House music is DC. Club music is Baltimore.
That's DC.
House music is different. Go. Yeah, the go-go stuff.
Bounce something that was in Baltimore. Bounce. I think it was. I can't remember.
Well, I've been gone for 15 years, so that's new kids.
I know.
So it was club music. Yeah, I was recording tapes back then for 92Q and everything. 92Q is in Atlanta now. But anyway, guys, hey man, you see how easy the podcast start over again because we just like talking. and everything.
Right,
Good time. So again, guys,
Good
be safe. Get your vaccines if you need to do that. Wear your mask. Let's get out of this corona shit so we get back to normal and do cool stuff, man. So again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Be safe out there. It's gonna be Dinah signing off from South Japan. Pinku style. See you guys later. Peace. Just hold on.